We all know why we're here. So let me ask you a question then. Why the big secret? Truth seekers were really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we're knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, truth seekers were really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, break it down, now can you peep it? They're deceiving all the people. Let me ask you, what's the secret? Misinformation and lies, a devious disguise. They want the EMF blast until our brains is fried. Oh, point their beams in the sky. Oh, it's a movie now. This world is all CGI. Their plot is truly foul, but we're here to rise up and bring the real. Time is now, truth seekers. Y'all know how I feel. Truth seekers were really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we're knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, truth seekers were really the true leaders. Keep it grooving, the movement like two-seaters. Turn it up, we knocking through both speakers. It's time we get the truth from the big secret keepers. Hey, why the big secret?
It's Friday. Good evening, everyone. I just want to welcome you to Why the Big Secret, and I'm your host, Roderick Martin. Yes, you could have been any other place tonight, but you chose to be right here, right now. And with that being said, I'm going to serve you. And how we're going to do that is simply be the boldest, baffling, belligerent YouTube channel in the world, creating captivating conversation that'll certainly cause controversy. And join me tonight as we go through 27 reasons why people don't share their experiences. And we're going to do that right now. And I just want to thank each and every one of you for being here. First, I want to bid you good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I said that. Good morning, good afternoon, whatever. Wherever you may be in a 24 time zone. Look, I had a brain freeze just right there. I was thinking like, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. All right. Anyway, it's a great day today. I'm good. So I hope you're good. All right. Truth Seekers, what's up, y'all, in the menu, and those of you that's down here in the chat, and just give you a forewarning in the future, our members are going to be the only ones that's going to be chatting pretty soon in the future, because I got another notice today from these people saying, Roderick, your content is great, but you cannot run a lot of ads here because they may not want to partner with that. So, man, either we're going to have to go silent, period, or talk about some PG stuff, because remember I tell you, we don't talk about that here. Or, man, this is going to be the challenge of challenges, right? But that's okay. I'm good, and I hope you all are good. Yeah, tonight we're going to do the T-shirt giveaway thing, right? Where we're going, yes, we're going to be doing that today, where we're going to be pulling names. Everyone who gave $5, who jumped into the T-shirt once a week, I'm going to be giving away a shirt of their choice, whatever they want. And it's a $5 entry. Now, my goal was to make sure we have at least minimum of 10 people in there at all times. Today, we got only 2 people that was in this when I started this 2 weeks ago. And one of them is going to win unless one of y'all jump in here tonight. And like I said, it's just a $5 entry. And if you win, I'm going to ship the shirt out to you. But here's the deal. Even if we don't pull you tonight, you're going to always stay in there until you win. So you don't have to, but you can increase your chances of winning if you say, okay, I want to add another $5 to the pot. Now I'm in there twice. But today, there's 2 people in here right now. And I'll get the bowl out in a little bit, the little singing bowl, and then I'm going to hit it. This will be halfway in the show sometime, and then we're going to pull one of those names, and somebody's going to win. So let me put it on the board. If you want to jump in, I'll write it down, and so I'll put where you can kind of hop in if you want to right there. Already, tonight's show is already sponsored at 444 by the greatness of Celeste there. And any of your new members, we'll kind of bring all of y'all into the fray at the end. So definitely get your membership as well. And like always, you know, yesterday's comments, I just want to let you know, I do read them. And someone said, hey, you got a great show, brother, but we just don't like it when you give homage to the people that are giving to your channel because it disrupts things. Now, I want to say for those of you who are listening and those who are giving, you have my gratitude, and I will continue until we get to a point to where we don't have to do this, to give you much gratitude for all of the contributions and those who are sponsoring and sending contributions and all that. Because at this moment, at a small channel, it is one of the most grateful things to do. And I know other people get irritated. So if you're one of the people that's going to get irritated every time someone gives, and I want to say thank you, I'm sorry. And just hang around a few months down the road when we get bigger, where things set in motion, where all these little things doesn't matter most, and when they do. So that's my word for today, and I like to address everyone for that as well. So, all right. So April says, I love the content there. And so all right. So what we're going to do, we're going to announce both people that's going to be sponsoring tonight's show, Judith at 11:11, and then that'll stay up for about 30 seconds, and then April will go in as the top person right now at $20. And Saucer, thank you for the contribution as well. So give me a moment. We'll get all that together. So let's get ready. We're going to get into the conversations. Now, tonight, as I promised, I have 2 people that I chose that submitted their encounters on the website. I'm not going to call their names, but I'm going to read these out to you in a little bit. There's 2 different ones, their experiences, and then just as anyone else during the week, if you decide that you want to share your experience, but maybe not come on camera, but do give me your information to do follow-up, but I will read them out to people and people can understand what is happening. So if you're okay with that, then we'll definitely be doing that as well. So yeah, let's put that to work there. All right. So here's the deal. We have the $5 challenge. All right. Thank you, Laura, for the $5 challenge. And see, y'all just, here's what's so magical about this. I may tell you what's been happening, and then now you're going to irritate those other people who don't like y'all giving and me calling it out. But I'm down with y'all too. So let's say it. Y'all give a shout out to Laura as well. So let me change it here. And we got a great show. We got 27 reasons why people don't really talk about these UFO stuff or experiences from paranormal to whatever. And I'm going to cover those. And if anything, and I'll probably go down in a minute of all of them before we get deep into one, so that you know by the time we're going to get to it that if you fall in that category, then it's going to be one of those things. But it's a lot of reasons, and then we'll go into some of those points too, to what is going on there, because it is a lot of things that people are just not comfortable even today to share those things there. So at this moment, let's do this right now. And let me find, so I can hide some of these comments here. All right. So anyway, we have right now, our ticker is going to show Judith at 11:11. And then next up is going to be, I just want to give everybody a moment. And then after that, we're on time. All right. So what do we want to start? Do y'all want me to read the stories, or we're going to get right into the conversations of where we are? Then also in a minute or later on in the show, I'm going to do a pole dance. Yes, you're going to see me do a pole dance here live for all of my contributors. So Roderick is going to give you a pole dance tonight, okay? I know. I'm going to give it to you tonight. So it's going to be a rare thing. You don't want to miss it. You all want to be here for that and understand that it's going to go down tonight. All right, so we're going to do that as well. All right, so here's the deal. Let me put where we at now, and let me put some stuff here. But what do y'all think about that? Y'all want to do it? Y'all want me to do a pole dance tonight? No? Yeah? Somebody talk about, Lord, what? Yeah, I'm serious. I'm serious. I'm going to do a pole dance. And right here, live. Yes, tonight, today. So I don't care. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go out like that today. It's going to be special, and everybody's going to really, really, y'all going to enjoy it. So at this point here, real quickly here. So y'all give a shout out to April as the $20 here super chat, and she is the sponsor. And then Judith has said, I'm going to take that. And so it's going to stay up, April, just for a few seconds because Judith have delivered more there, okay? All right, so here we go. And thank you for the 555s. All right, so here's the deal. 27 reasons. Now, number one, I have fear of ridicule. Then I have social stigma. Reputation damage is number 3. Isolation from the community. And like I said, we're going to go deep into each one. Lack of concrete evidence. Government authority of distrust, fear of exploitation, mental health stigma, traumatic memories, fear of being disbelieved, legal and safety concerns, privacy, skepticism about their own experience, fear of repercussions, unwanted attention, fear of alien reprisal. Yeah, I get that a lot. Some people think, y'all even heard Marquise in his interview, that he was just like, I don't want them to come back. You know, I'm just afraid they're going to come back because I'm powerless. Remember that. So people don't like talking about it because they don't want them to come back. We're going to get into that. Family and friends reaction, religious belief, inability to articulate the stories, as well as career implications, lack of supported platforms, personal doubt. And, again, we have fear of misrepresentation. The experience was just too traumatic, and impact on personal relationships, as well as the belief no one would care. So a lot of those things is something that we want to really pay attention to when it comes down to these things, because it is happening. It is truly, truly, truly happening when it comes down to this. And I think we need to talk about it as well. All right, so I'm ready to hop into it. We are now caught up right here. So tonight's sponsor is Judith at 2222. All right, so there we go. And I want to thank you for giving Cammie. Thank you as well. Super chat there. And appreciate it. I'll get my applause out here. All right, so we're good. All right, y'all ready? Y'all ready to get into this thing? You ready to get into this thing? The first one is fear of ridicule, okay? People might fear being laughed at, misunderstood, or not taken seriously. Now, as you know, I'm a UFO investigator for the MUFON Network, been on several television shows, and I have literally talked to hundreds of people when it comes down to this particular thing, especially when paranormal, all of this kind of wrapped together when we have these type of experiences. And people just don't really want to talk about it, or they're afraid to talk about it. And number one of them is fear of ridicule. And you would think today that's going to change, because people should be feeling vindicated because of all of that. And I think that's one of the things that we have to do. And you see right now, Laura says that's her number one. All right. So we have to consider how societal norms shape our fears of stepping outside the status quo. That's one of the things we have to consider. We got to figure out a way. And this is one of the reasons that Project Black and a lot of these things exist, but there's still a blanket coverage for anybody, right? And no matter where they come from, that we have to get a place where people are comfortable to where they really want to share their experiences. And it's not just a testament for human resilience, but despite of fear of ridicule, some individuals still share their extraordinary experiences. Yes, some people still come out. Some people do come forward, but I promise you, there is a majority of people that cry in the dark or at some point just do not feel that they're ready to express themselves when it comes down to this as well. All right, so let me make sure we do this. We have someone else is entering the T-shirt drawing, so they sent $5 for that. So if you want to enter, there's your name. You know who you are. So you're now entered. So we have 3 people in there right now. So that's cool. Somebody's going to win. All right. So at this point, you know, we also talking about the psychological impacts of ridicule and how it affects people, the willingness to share. And some people just can't handle it, I would think. And what would we do, though? How can we help people feel more comfortable to share their experiences? And even if it is you, how do we help you? How do we create the environment that you are comfortable? Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm not a person on the medical side, or if it's you need some deep help, because it is a traumatic experience. I get it. But on a ground surface level, what would it do? What do we need to do as a collective and a community so that you'll feel comfortable? And like I said, I have stories here that people sent that we're going to talk about, but what would make someone say, okay, I am willing to truly, come forward, and come and show my face, or and really show who they are when it comes down to doing it, one of those things. So we got to figure that out as well. Dr. Karras says, anyone see the Harvard guy who believes he found fragments of an alien spacecraft in the ocean? In the ocean near the submarine, or you just saying in the oceans period? Because we get a lot of that all the time, where they're finding, but there's so many stories about that other submarine that went down. I'll be shocked to want to know if that's part of the conversation from there. So let me turn this email off here so that we don't keep hearing that. All right, so we good. I didn't see anything when it comes down to that, but that's fine, and we will definitely figure that stuff out from here. He says, you're doing great. All right, so here's the deal. Another part, reflect how ridicule and disbelief can create this cycle of silence and discourage open conversations about unconventional experiences. And that is something that we really got to figure out. Why is that? And so if you feel that fear of ridicule, that you might be laughed at, misunderstood, and you are an experiencer and you want to put it in the chat so we know, you can start by now saying, hey, I do feel that way. I did have an experience, whatever. But you can start right now by just kind of putting some stuff there, and pretty much it's just kind of go from there. And we'll do that. But I think, just starting out, you will be able to do this. Another one, number 2, is going to be social stigma. Society often labels these experiences as fringe, and some of these people, I guess they try to say they're off the hinge or whatever, but we need to look at what's causing them to keep quiet, right? And let's explore some of these things that, some of the fascinations that society has with the unknown, and also how they, at the same time dismiss some of these personal testimonials from people. And like I've always said, it's time to trust the witnesses, right? I've always said that I believe you believe. I'm going to go with you at any given point, and that is something that we should do when you having people that you need to be there for when it comes down to this. And so if you ever experienced that yourself, so hopefully tonight, and I got 27 of them. We probably get to 25, but there's a lot of reasons that this is happening, and hopefully we touch on something that resonate with you and with someone you may know, and then we can try to change those dynamics to how they feel to become, okay, I'm ready to talk about it. Or at least, like I said, if you want to share your story, go to whythebigsecret.com, and there is a Project Black page. You go to there and you can type in there and you can just list out your experience just like these people right here did, and we're going to talk about it tonight. I'm going to go over that in just a little bit. So, all right, let me look here. Okay, then we have a couple of more people that are in for the shirt. I'll go back over all of these right before the drawing, okay? So there's a couple of you who are in there. But we do have a new and champion at the top of the page that is our new sponsor. And let's give Victoria the kingship and queenship here, either which way. However, we want to make sure that everybody is where they need to be. Let's do it this way. All right, there we go. So y'all give Victoria. So again, have any of you been impacted in such a way that you just said, you know what, I'm just not going to tell anybody. I'm not going to keep this a secret, and we'll get to the relationship side of it a little later. But one of the things that I was talking about from there was that this is normal. There's a lot of people out here who feels they just cannot do this. Y'all give Victoria a round of applause. She is now the show sponsor. Yeah, thank you so much for all of you participating there. Reputation damage. Now, this is a big one. This is a big one because when you are talking about corporate America, right? And, I think Dr. Gary Nolan talked about it too, where he had so many of his friends. Remember, he kept saying, they kept telling him, don't say nothing, don't say nothing. You're going to ruin your career. And he was like, it hadn't ruined it today, And so reputation, individuals may worry about professional, academic, or personal reputation damage when it comes down to this. And so they just don't want to tell it. And oftentimes, when I talk to lawyers or highly professional people or people that in these professional areas, and they do have experiences, they just don't want to tell about it in an open manner because it can ruin their client base. And then, of course, with their colleagues. And then, of course, wherever else this may lie, when they are saying I had an experience, and by the way, I saw E.T., and so they just can't do it. They can't talk about it, and it's pretty bad when it gets down to people have to hold themselves in like that. So we do got to ponder on the way we often link reputation to a narrow ideal of what we call being normal, right? And does this limit our understanding of the world and the potential as being humans? Because we want to say, it's instead of me being authentic in who I am, my reputation, my rep, and I can understand for a neighborhood bully, because remember I've told that story before, and I've done this on TV, and they was like, I grew up in a neighborhood that even a neighborhood bully ain't gonna tell somebody he saw a UFO. I mean, think about on a corner, and he'd be like, oh, I saw a UFO last night, and his street credit is gone. It's out of there. So I can imagine in the real world where this is business, that you're not going to get people to talk about it as well. So I can understand that quite openly. We want to also explore some of the case studies of individuals who have shared their experience and have faced professional backlash. So let's go into this. Have some of you experienced telling people your experience, and especially a coworker, and all of a sudden they start treating you different? Let me see that in the chat. If anybody have experienced that, where somebody just kind of say, we're going to treat you different, all right? Or they have treated you different now that this is happening at some point. So anyway, welcome all truth seekers and all members. Anybody that you see that's green and have the little icon, they are members. And eventually, because once again, I got flagged again. I just want y'all to know. And that's okay. It's just they just limit the ad revenue, so they're not saying that you're going to be a copyright or whatever they call infringement. Then eventually, because our members is growing, I want to make it at some point that even in this chat that is our members only at some point. And I don't know when. It could be way down the road, but I want to be able to do this so we can encourage people to support if you can. But right now it's not that important, but we will have to understand what these people who control the system want us to do. Another part is reflect on how the fear of reputation damage can inhibit the growth of knowledge and understanding in this field. So basically what this statement is saying and what I'm trying to convey would be, could it be possible that because of this and everything else, and like I said, I'll go over and give all our new members some acknowledgments in a little bit, okay? When we get ready to do the T-shirt pull. And there are also a few people that have joined the T-shirts. There's 3 more people, so then there's 5. If you want to do your $5, make sure you put it in there. It's for the drawing of the shirt, okay? And do we have that? Is that an issue? Is that an issue that because they don't want their reputation hindered, that they don't even now take the time to investigate or go learn more into what has happened to them or this particular phenomenon? You know, is that something that is a possibility? What do y'all think? And we can kind of look at that from there. So the GOAT says, you know, my store manager thinks I'm crazy and asks me, are the aliens helping me do my job every day? You know what? Because it's aliens, you can't file, you know, harassment or something on them because they just not going to. But you should be able to. But, you know, one of these days you're going to be able to do a Will Smith slap on that dude, you know, and because especially when they show up and then all of a sudden they walk in there to buy some stuff from the store and giving some alien Bitcoin or something, you know, whatever. I don't know if it's going to happen now, but it's coming. It's definitely going to come down, you know, from there as well. Native V says, I'm so tired of my family calling me weird that I just shut up about it. You see okay. So that is something that we as a truth seekers, as a collective, as you see her response was, she just stopped talking about it, right? And how is that possible? Because it is that we as a collective, and this is why it's important for us to begin to put a voice together, a place as we continue to grow, as we share this channel, as we share these messages, where overall they're going to get a wind of our conversations anyway. And it's going to be some normal, they're going to get normal to it. But as you can see just right now, as she says that, you know, she just shut up about it. And so it is causing us, truth seekers and other people that's having these experiences, to just, you know, implode with this thing. And that's not something that we need to do. Another one is isolation from community. That's number 4. The fear of being seen as different or unusual can create hesitancy in what we're talking about. And so once again, we're at the crossroads where people, you know, are saying, wait a minute, I'm isolated from the community. Now, I can probably experience that as well. And let me say this. Before I became a UFO investigator, I was in a home, and I'll tie that other part of the story when we get to the relationship side later on in the show tonight. But the whole point was, as far as people around me and everyone else, I did not have a place to talk to people about UFOs and just even the interest in it, even though you might have watched the movies, which also led me down the path of Clubhouse, the audio app, of starting my own club with the intent only to get maybe 20 or 30 people that I can talk to, right? And that was the whole intent of starting the Clubhouse app, was to get 20 to maybe 30 people in a club where we can just talk about aliens and extraterrestrials. And today it is 30,000 over there, okay? So I didn't have a clue that was going to happen. And now on 9 TV shows, and now I'm working on some bigger plans. Oh, books are coming out now. Oh, the YouTube channel and the podcast is in 27 different countries now. You get what I'm saying? So what a baby, but at the same time, what if the community around me really, really got me silenced and I wouldn't even be here with you today? So Native V, we're going to work on that as a collective. And so another part of discuss how communities often, ostracize or marginalize those who don't fit in a conventional mold. Now, what we're hoping is that more and more as we do what we do, some people are going to begin the process of not treating people this way because it's going to be a normal conversation, right? It's going to be something that we all talked about and going to talk about and everything else. And like I said before, and like I've said earlier when the show begun, right after we do the drawing, okay, I'm going to do a pole dance for the audience of all my contributors, okay? I'm going to do a pole dance for all of you. Yeah, okay. Y'all laughing. All right, y'all tripping. Y'all going to see. I worked hard for this. All right, so, and I don't know y'all talking about, what? Yeah, okay, I'm serious. Stick around. Lack of concrete evidence. Without definitive proof, sharing self-experiences might be seen as baseless. Now, this is probably where, how the old folks said, the rubber meets the road, right? Or how we want to put it. Because at this point, you do have a situation that without evidence is difficult, right? Because most of the time, and we still get that today. Remember the kid in Vegas, and everybody's like, you got your phone, and you know, how many people really carry their phone? Or right now, sitting in the house, all of you right now, and you heard a loud crash in the backyard, are you going to grab your phone to, I need to go see what this is, or are you going to go see what it is out of reaction first? And then if you see Godzilla, are you running back to get your phone to take a picture of Godzilla? Are you? No, you out of there. You out of there, right? So that's all I'm saying. Yeah, I didn't say pool dance. I said pole. Pole. P-O-L-E. Did I say pool? If I didn't, I'm saying, okay, listen, for my scholars, I'm going to do a pole dance. All right, so there we go. I got y'all. All right, no misunderstanding, Victoria, no misunderstanding. I'm telling y'all, I'm coming with it. Okay. All right, so in the meantime, Victoria is tonight's sponsor. If you want to be on top of that, you can cash out right at the top, and we'll be rocking and rolling, and you will be. All right, so what about, again, when we talk about the lack of evidence, and let's consider the question. If an experience is real to an individual, does the lack of physical evidence make it less valid? Yes or no? Y'all go ahead. Come on with it. And the question once again to consider, if an experience is real to you or to an individual, does the lack of physical evidence make it less valid? Does it? No. I mean, my question is, we have to begin to trust the witnesses, right? Now, don't get me wrong. You get someone who just got released from the loony bin, and they have been in there for quite some time, but then all of a sudden they had an experience and they're trying to explain it to you. It may be a little difficult to try to navigate through the conversation until you start hearing bits and pieces. There may be some reality to the story. But then at the same time, you know, and I understand that a person's credibility will probably be the most biggest factor. So you probably have a factory worker versus a lawyer who says, I'm a lawyer and this is what it is. But regardless, does the lack of physical evidence make it less valid? Most of you saying no. I get it. Roderick isn't doing water aerobics. He's been practicing water ballet. Yep. You know what? I on Tuesday and Thursday, I do my water aerobics. But, all right, y'all joking. I'm telling you, I'm going to do my pole dance for y'all in a little bit. All right. So let's go from there. All right. How about what if we explore how this demand on concrete evidence can inhibit individuals from coming forward with their experiences? So we can explore that, which is probably number one, where the Whistleblowers Act came into play, right? Because they figure they got to do something to encourage or entice these people to come forward to talk about their experiences, and also don't face public ridicule or retaliation from the companies and corporations that they're sharing these things about, all of this stuff. And so obviously it's a real deal. We have to put some provisions in place in order to protect these people. So therefore, it's very intimate that this is going to happen. So we want to make sure that we do that. Another part is mental health stigma. We talked a little bit about it, but there's often implications that people who have these experiences are mentally unstable. And I just kind of went into a story of somebody that's probably being released. How do we look into this? And we can think about the stereotype of linking unusual experiences with mental health disorders and how this can discourage people from speaking out. And I'm sure most people who have had an experience don't speak out because the last thing in their mind is they don't want to be seen crazy. And there's a road there. There's a road that's there and it's been there, and people have exploited that and made people feel awful when it comes down to these experiences. And that is something that, how do we change that? So how do we make more people more comfortable, not on a government level with the Whistleblowers Act? That's a lot of powerful tool. But what about everyday people, right? There's no Whistleblowers Act for everyday people, unless you just really have worked for one of these corporations or something of at large that they feel that this is something that you would do. But we do not have that going on. So once again, all of these reasons why people don't talk. So I would ask you as well, why don't you talk? Why is it that even in personal issues, a lot of people just don't even get down to it? And like I said, we'll get to that momentarily. Another part that I think this happens a lot. In fact, I was talking to a friend of mine today, and in our conversation, one of the things that stood out was the memories of talking about their experience and the traumatic memories. And if this experience was traumatic, the person may not want to relive it by sharing it, right? And so I thought about that and kind of added into our conversation. And we have to try to figure out how to explore the relationship between the trauma and memory, right? How can sharing a traumatic experience potentially re-trigger the trauma? And of course, it was explained to me because they just don't want to talk about it, or when they see it. So what do you do? How do you, really help people in that point there? And so someone else says, I am a therapist, and so I know how quickly people get labeled with mental illness. Okay, yeah, so there you go. And I think it's something that we can really know is happening every day and what is going on, and pretty much. And so I don't know. I think it's one of those things that we have to really get and think about how to help people when it comes down to this. We can reflect on the need for more professional mental help, or to support for the individuals who had this. And so even with Project Black, we are making sure that we're surrounding ourselves with people that could help this whole thing as a collective, right? Because it's important that we do so. So it's something that we have been considering, and pretty much from there. And I think it's just something that we would do, and part of Project Black, or part of anything, but especially when we come down to it, because there's going to be some people that is going to need to support mentally when it comes down to this. Another part of this is, we can consider the emotional toll that it has on people sharing, and how to create a culture of empathy and understanding to support individuals. That's another part. And this is why when I start pushing for Project Black and wanting to put it together, to, what's the word I'm looking for? Not just have online. I think it's important that we have live events, right? Live events where people can actually meet, hug, talk to people, because I think physically it's going to be more important to make sure that happens, that people are going to be able to meet with each other, talk to each other, whisper to each other, all these things in a live setting that I think would be very, very important to do. And that's something that I think is important. And then we should also look at it, across the board from there. So what do y'all think on that as well? All right. So another part of this would be, again, the fear of being disbelieved. They might not share it because they know people is going to flatly just deny their experience. And that takes that on a whole nother level, because even when we remember Y'all remember when the Vegas thing happened, when the guy first called 911, what was the first thing came out of his mouth? He says, I know you probably not going to believe me. So here's somebody calling 911, and he's saying, I know you probably are not going to believe me and everything else. And I don't know. All right, so we have a huge, oh my God, we have a new sponsor who says, step aside and claim this. All right, so here we go at this point. And this is sponsored by Phoenix. All right. Phoenix A. Here we go. Phoenix A is now our show sponsor. And let's show the ticker. There we go. Y'all give Phoenix A show applause. I mean, I'm pole dancing tonight, okay? I'm in the countdown is about 20-some minutes when we pull the shirts. I'm pole dancing tonight, okay? I just want y'all to know. Right here, live. It's gonna go down right here, okay? All right. I know. Y'all funny. I'm doing it. Yep. So, and, you know, I'm going to do it. Yeah. So, and I know somebody's saying, Roderick, you're going to pole dance. That's the
dumbest thing I've ever heard.
No, I know. I'm just saying what y'all was thinking right there. I know. Yeah. But that's not it. I am going to pole dance. Am I?
You damn right, wise ass.
Just watch me in a minute or two. Okay. Not in a minute, but in a little bit. Mm-hmm. It's all good. We're going to do it. Okay, so hit that pole, vertical or horizontal. What do y'all got jokes? Somebody got jokes already. Smart folks. All right, so legal and safety concerns that authorities may intervene in unwelcome ways, right? This is other reasons why people are not going to do that, right? So we need to discuss where individuals have faced legal issues of unwanted attention from authorities due to their experiences. So any of y'all know anything about that? Anybody remember any stories that the authorities have, really treated people bad from reporting these stories? Put them in the chat. I know some of y'all got some histories there. And look, she's telling me we need a solid spin. I'm telling you, y'all got jokes. Y'all really. And we're going to be pulling in a minute for the shirts right after we do the Conscious Award. Today is the last day to vote for sure. So if you have not voted, and if you voted, try to vote again and again. We'll be doing that. But what fears and safety and surveillance that might deter people from coming forward? Remember the Vegas incident? We end up seeing cameras at this guy's house, and they're still reporting that these people are now absolutely missing. They're gone, from there. I would be shocked for someone to top tonight's, and awfully happy too. And I mean, just really happy, but to top tonight's sponsor and in any of these ways, that would be just tickled to death. All right. But anyway, so yeah. So when you got individuals and we're talking about legal and safety concerns, and this is real because people are dealing with it, is why the whistleblower said, let's put a protection in place. Remember, let's put a protection in place because people will really want to do that from there. Let's see. All right, hang on. 1 second. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those deals. So when you think about legal and safety concerns, that's why the Whistleblowers Act is there, because it is like, really there's threats out there. People has been threatened. The government has been like, somebody tell me everybody's waiting for the show. What show? I'm on live. Hang on one second. What show? Okay, so anyway, so we're talking about legal, that's what the whistleblowers have been talking about, right? And everything else. And so what did we, why did they have to put that in place? Because once again, they was concerned for people's safety, that some of these people will get really, knocked out the box if they go ahead and say, okay, so you got these contractors that's like, okay, you're going to go tell our secrets. We're going to threaten you. We're going to threaten your families. We're going to sue you. We're going to take everything that you own, all of this stuff. And so I think it's one of those things that we have to look into. And I think people are like, what's really going on? I'm not really for sure, how that works. But, man, yeah, I don't know. Hang on 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 4. Yeah. All right. So anyway, just do what we do there. All right. So another part, let's go to privacy. Now, remember the guy from the first thing he was asking was, how could he get the privacy? How could his family have privacy from there and pretty much from there? And I'm like, okay, what do you do from there? How do you get privacy if you go out and you want to tell somebody an alien landed in your backyard? How do you get privacy? How does that happen? And I think at the end of the day, we didn't give them none. So the family had to disappear. They had to go other places. And then, of course, anyway, the individuals might simply value their privacy and then also prefer to keep their experiences to themselves. And that's it. And like Magneticus just said, you don't have any more privacy at this point. And you're not going to get it. The press is not, and people are relentless. There's probably people that drove to those people's houses, probably knocked on their front door, ordinary, everyday people. Hey, can I go in your backyard? I want to see an alien. I've been waiting to see an alien all of my life. All of that stuff, right? So they've probably been sitting here doing this for quite some time that you have to say, okay, where's the challenge? What is happening? Why, mom, dad, let's pack our bags. Let's go. We're out of here, right? We're gone. And so I think that's something that happens all the time as well. Another part is it all comes down to the public fascination with extraterrestrials, and they will encroach upon individuals' privacy. And I was just saying that because the guy had to, remember the young kid, I'm just using him because it was the latest example, but he had to come forward and say, look, I'm not missing. Remember he did a video, I'm not missing, and y'all are sitting here saying I'm gone. Somebody took me or whatever. The aliens ain't going to come back and take him, are they ticked off? And like, okay, you don't expose us. We coming back to get you and your whole family and take y'all for a ride. They're not doing that. And the government ain't saying we're upset now that you have said something, so we're going to take you for a ride. All this stuff would have been done long before. And it is one of those things that you have to really understand. It's not going down like that. So where we going with the privacy side is, I promise you, that would probably keep a lot of people right today from showing, oh, I had an extraterrestrial in my yard or came visit my house, because they just don't want the thing. And so if that is happening to you, you can send me your stories and your pictures, and I'll take the blunt force of putting it out there for you. That's a Texas thing, y'all. All right, so yeah, I'll do it. I would do it. And get ready. The drum roll is coming, because I'm going to, in a minute, we're going to do our halftime. We're going to show the Conscious Award in a little bit. I have to do it. Hey, I'm supporting my guy, and I'm going to be there in some days too, and giving you an opportunity to vote. And then we'll still promote if you hadn't got your tickets. Then we're going to do our T-shirt pulling. And then after that, I'm going to do a pole dance for my audience. I've been working on the moves. I'm telling you, I just got to make sure I get the right music and the setup before we can do that. So Anyway, unwanted attention. This is another why people don't share their experiences. And the individuals may worry about becoming the center of attention and a spectacle. That is totally different from privacy, by the way. Having unwanted attention is totally different from privacy, okay? Because you might want your privacy and you may get it, or you might say, I don't care about that. But when you get the attention of what is happening and how people are going to treat you, because at first they're probably going to get, just like the people got, a lot of interested people saying, hey, God, it's great. Alien landed in your backyard. How cool. How cool is that? Not until the religious people hit them. You're Antichrist and you're spreading you're going to go to hell. It could have been that, could have been all kinds of stuff that comes behind this, right? Because that unwanted attention gets pretty radical when it comes. I believe, personally, I'm still eluding this whole conversation around the Vegas thing. I believe the cameras that we saw, remember they showed some cameras on top of this guy's house, was that they left and the police put those cameras up to protect their personal property from looters, right? I believe that's what happened, without a shadow of a doubt. And we will look at it that way. Yeah, make sure y'all hit the smash the like button. Smash, all right, how can I say it right there? Boom. Do just that right there. Smash the like button. Yeah, I got the pillow all on the ground. It's messed up there, but that's okay. Smash the like button and all of that stuff as well, and pretty much doing that. All right, so dropping them likes and everything else, I appreciate it. So once again, you're talking about the unwanted attention, and we have to reflect on the importance of consent and respect when discussing these personal experiences in public. And I'm saying this because all of these are the obstacles that Project Black is going to have to overcome once we begin the process of, sharing these things with the public and people coming forward. All of these reasons that I'm talking about is got to be overcome before somebody or most people say, I'm going to come forward. Because we should have hundreds of stories coming. And at the end of the day, it's one of those deals from there. We're going to do that. So like I said, in a little bit, we're going to be coming up, and we're about that halfway point in a little bit, and I will begin the process of, talking about that in a minute. All right, so breaking things down a little bit, the fear of alien reprisal. That is something important because there's people that fear that they will come back. There's people that fear that they're going to do these hideous things to them again. There's people that fear that if they talk about it, because remember, if you went to go watch in members only area, Marquise's interview, one of the things he said was it was a huge fear of his that they would come back. So he don't talk about it a lot, and we'll get into the details of that. I'm just setting this up now to get ready to go into our halfway thing, where we're going to then next pull the winners of the shirt. There's 3 or 4 more people that entered. I'm going to put your name in here live in the bowl in just a second. And then a couple of few announcements and everything else. And so I'm getting ready to play the information about the Forbidden Knowledge Awards. And so hopefully you all are ready for that. And let's move into that right now. Let's go.
Hey everybody, it's Billy Carson, also known as Forbidden Knowledge. I want to talk to you about a very special event coming up July 30th, 2023, the Forbidden Conjurers Awards, the first annual event of its type. We're going to honor people who have been contributing to the conscious community for decades. People that you know and love that have helped you get to higher levels of thought and consciousness and awareness. And guess what? It's time to give them their flowers while they're still alive. It's going to be a live in-person event, but seats are going to sell out very fast. You want to make sure you're there in person for this amazing level event. It's going to be above the Oscars, above the Grammys. And guess what? You can help vote for the winners. Voting is available on forbiddenknowledge.com. And the categories are going to be social media influencer, podcast/radio host, TV host, actor, director, producer, entrepreneurs, health and wellness, philanthropists, authors, field researchers, archaeologists, space anomaly hunters, and of course, a Lifetime Achievement Award. And you want to be there in person because I'm going to be speaking. That's right, I'll be your keynote speaker that night at the Forbidden Conscious Awards. If you want to come to a mini conference, this is the place to be because I'm going to give you the knowledge that night, as well as performances. We have celebrity guests performing. We'll have a halftime show where we're actually going to perform music for you. And don't forget about the pre-event mixer, where if you buy a box seat, you'll be in the VIP section, and you also have private access to a VIP mixer with celebrity guests. Shake hands, break bread, network, and then walk the red carpet with us and take amazing photos. It's going to be a night to remember. You don't want to forget this. And you help vote by going to forbiddenknowledge.com, go to the Conscious Awards link. You can text in a vote for who you want for any category, as well as if you're out of the country, you can use the web form ballot to still vote for anyone you think is worthy of being honored that night. Make sure you hurry up and get your tickets because they're selling out very fast. I want to see you there. Forbidden Conscious Awards 2023.
All right, so as y'all know, that over this past year or two, or past year and a half, actually, I have been in several TV shows. The Open Minds by Regina Meredith, you want to check that out. That's on Gaia. And George Norrie, you want to check that out. That's on Beyond Belief. Also featured on Coast to Coast as well. I was featured there on Discovery Channel, Alien Endgame. You want to check that out as well. Fox Tubi, check that out. That was Aliens, Abductions, and UFOs, Roswell 75. So it was the 75th anniversary last year, and we just had the 76th. Forbidden Knowledge TV, I actually have an 8-episode show on their network, as well as being in the Black Knight satellite. And then I'm in a Bigfoot 2. There is something just aired on Amazon recently and then featured on History Channel's Ancient Aliens. And so therefore, I am one of the finalists here on the television host actor. And these are the people that that I'm in the category with for the final vote. Robert Grant, Teresa Bullard. And if you're going to vote, this is it. Today is it. If you've done it, try it again and again and again. Vote for Roderick.com in television host category, and I'm excited to whatever happens. I will be there. We will be there I'll be there Friday night. Billy's having a private house party, so we'll be at his house Friday night, and then Saturday, then Sunday for the event, and then I'll fly back to Dallas on Monday. And so I hopefully get to meet all of you and who's coming. And if you haven't got your tickets, make sure you get your tickets. And then, by the way, on Monday, we're going to give away 2 tickets, okay? I had got everything worked out, so there's 2 tickets that we're going to give away to the event, but you got to let us know you got the means and you're going to go. We don't want to give you the tickets and they could have went to someone else who are not going, okay, if you're not going. So we got 2 tickets to the event that you will be able to go to the event and, get in and have some great things there, okay? So with that being said, let's get ready to do our shirt drawing. And we have, I may have a little music for the shirt drawing or something. And something small, inspirational. I don't know. Let's do it. All right, so this is the singing bowl. There's 4 people in here. And, yep, I know how to make it work because I do it. Yeah, so you have to, see that? I know how to make it work. It's still going. I ain't touching it. That's how good I got this thing down, okay? You hear it? You hear it? It's still singing. It's singing. Yeah. All right, so, we're going to pull the names, and there's 4 names in here. You got to be present to win. So I'm going to make sure you're accounted for. Jen, you're in here. If you're here, I need to see in the chat. Darren, if you're still here, or you're in the chat. D, if you're here, or you're in the chat. And then there is Kia. All right, so if y'all are here, put in the chat that you are present, because I want you to be present to win. And then we will pull. Droney is in the house. Droney, we got a high bid on the show tonight, brother. I know you've done it, but that one, I just want you to know. I know the power. But and I would love for you to knock it off. But welcome anyway. All right. So anyone else that needs to get into the church? I mean, not the church. I feel like damn church. All right. Anybody else need to get into the bowl right now? $5. All right. So Jen is here. D is there. Darren is here. And Key is here. So the 4 people there, 3 minutes, 2 minutes. If anyone else needs to get in, catch out. Oh, let me put it on top. If you want to get in here real quick, and then we're going to pull. And they can have any shirt that they want, but we're going to pull it. Everybody's presence. All right, so, okay, so we're getting ready to do it in a few seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute. I have not received. I'm just letting it go. Anybody else in? And don't forget, any of you that don't win, you will still be in it for the next time. But next time I want to make sure we have 10 people in here this time, okay? So we got to be doing that right now. All right, so at this point, I'm going to shake it up a little bit. And I'm not even looking. All right, I'm shaking it up. Y'all with me? We're gonna give them a nice energy. Give them a nice energy of whoever's about to be the winner of this. And I'm not even looking, paying attention. Boom. All right, so the shirt is in my hand. The winner is in my hand. And let's find out who the winner is. And the winner is, can y'all see that? Oh, you can. And I don't have the other camera on. It's Jen. Jen is the winner. There you go. It was, try to zoom in on that, Jen. But anyway, y'all can see it right there. J-N. Jen is the winner of the shirt. And we will pull again next week for the 3 other people and the other people that add on. So Jen, you got my text anyway. So you get to call me and tell me whatever shirt on our site that you want and whatever size and who you want it sent to. We would do that. So Jen is the winner. And think Darren, think D and Kia, who are still in the bowl. They're going to be in there for next week. And we're going to keep pulling. And then as you win, I'm going to pull you out unless you have another entry, right? But we want to make sure everybody at some point between now, and I don't care if it's 10 weeks from now, somebody's going to win. And so Jen is the one. Another thing I want to show y'all real quickly is my seed, my daughter, my young daughter. She's been a graphic. She does illustrations and drawings, and she is really good, okay? So this week I said, hey, babe, I want you to create a shirt for my community. I told her, how young some of you all are and, blah, blah, blah. And she drew this black and white picture. She said, this is what I want. I think this would be a cool shirt and design. And you ain't going to see it anywhere else. And then she ended up colorizing it and she sent it to me. And I'm like, this is my child. She's really good. She's a grown-ass woman. But the whole point is if you need logo designs or graphic designs for shirts and stuff, I got to promote my seed here on this channel. And let me show y'all the one she put together right now. And boom, there's the shirt. Let me make it a little bigger here so you can see the logo. So it's a Why the Big Secret with a hoodie. And she drew this from scratch, black and white pencil, and then colorized it. I even like, you see the phone and the glow on the phone on the shirt, but then the reflection is in the eyes. So she's saying, Dad, I'm going to create some normalcy for you. These are things I'm going to do. She created this. I'm going to put this on a shirt next week, and I'm going to offer her the proceeds pretty soon. But anyway, I'm just so proud because she's going to make a lot of designs for some clothing line that we're working on and stuff. And that's my kid. That's my kid. Like I said, she's a grown woman, though. She's, 20-something, but 27. But still, that is from scratch when she sketched it. And then I was like, okay, I see where it's going. And now she sent me, because she does colorization. And then she put the brand up there at the hoodie at the top of the skull cap up there. What do y'all think? All right. So I hope y'all love it because I love it. She is, and someone else says print it. Yeah, it's cool. So that's it right there. And it's got the Why the Big Secret up there and all that. And she is available to do those things. Yeah, I love it because, like I said, right now we're doing something very big, and to have her part of some of these things, and just where I can work with my daughter and help her with what I'm doing. Oh, hang on, let me put that back up. Let me take the thing down. All right. Another news I want to announce before I do my pole dance in about 3 minutes, and Zulu, it will be here in Dallas on Sunday. So I know some people was working on it. I was fortunate enough to make a call after I talked to the psychic, by the way, yesterday, which had nothing to do with Zulu, but I made a call to a friend and talked to him in a while. And I said, where you at, man? And he was like, oh, I'm out on the road. I deliver these trucks to different people. And he was just talking. He said, yeah, I'm in some other state. And I said, oh, yeah. And I said, man, that would be nice you being in Ohio. He said, well, I'll be in Toledo tomorrow. And I was like, what? And here we go. So he's going to pick him up. Or Daryl, y'all know Daryl, is going to, because his next stop is Indianapolis. And so he's going to drop off a truck there tonight, then catch a ride to Indianapolis. But Daryl, who is, man, one of the best, is going to pick him up from the hotel with the dog. They're going to drive 3 hours to Indianapolis, drop him off at the next truck where he's picking up the truck to deliver to Texas. And then I have to drive Sunday an hour and a half to Tyler to pick him up. And he will be here. You're talking a will, there's a way. And I'm saying that's amazing networking, right? That's amazing networking and knowing people all over the place, people you haven't, this is just a beautiful thing. Okay, so Zulu is his name right now. So next week, Monday, I should have him here, and I'm going to hold him up. He's about 6 months old. He's about 50 pounds. So I'm going to hold him up in the show, and he's going to be my walking buddy. He's going to be, I'm going to exercise with him in the mornings, and that's it. So, yeah, so I named him Zulu. Yes, that's his name. That's what I think on. All right, so y'all ready for the pole dance, right? Let me try to, fade to black here so I can get my stuff together. Hang on 1 second. And we're coming. I'm coming. And get a little music here. All right. All right. So let me find some music. All right. So I'm pole dancing. What did y'all think? You think I was gonna get up here for real, like me doing it and break my whatever? But I practiced this today for my supporters. Good stuff, right? Good stuff. Good stuff. I know it's sexy, right? It's sexy. I know it's real sexy. Watch this. Watch this spin. Watch this spin. Watch that. You get that? I worked on that all day. I know. It's cool. We're good. I know, right? I mean, hey, imagine your woman coming home and she brings a pole about this size and says, I'm going to pole dance for you. And I'm not your woman, but you know what I'm saying. Oh, man, y'all, I know what I'm saying. Okay, so y'all good? Y'all good? Did I do it? I keep my word up? Is that good for some contributions or what? All right. I mean, y'all should be cash apping all over the place right now. I mean, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? We're doing it. Drop it like it's hot. Yes, I just did. But yeah, I was working on it all day. Somebody actually got it. I think it was Saucer or somebody talking about, are you going to do your mic pole? And I was like, how did he see this? I got it sitting over there, but he was talking about this one. I was like, how do you see my mic pole? So that we go right there. I know it's getting hot in here, but that's where that's how we go back to the old school. And that's where it was. All right, we're going to get to the second half.
Let me ask you, why the big secret concealing it from the mass view? UFOs circled in the sky, still get no reply. I think it's time for truth seekers to rise. Hands up if you're feeling how I'm feeling. Spread the truth and start revealing. Knocking down the doors of the big secret keepers. Truth seekers coming through your speakers.
What? That's it. All right, let's get it in there. We got about 10 more different things that we're going to talk about and everything else. It is Friday. That's how we roll. You got your pole dance. I didn't get any darn tips for being up on that pole. Do you know how much, coordination it took to spin around that thing and how much I went into it to make sure that I was appealing and that you saw my legs, finger legs, of course, and how I spent. Did you see how I did a real spin? It just reminded me of the she-wolf when she was trying to do that one time when I was married. That's how funny it was. But anyway, so I don't know if any of y'all know how to pole dance, women for your, or men, or whatever your pronoun is, if you pole dance. Any of y'all pole dance for your mates before? And, and I understand you may have some different, life experiences, but would anybody do that though? Somebody talk about really Roderick, the she-wolf. Yeah, the she-wolf. Yeah, she tried it before a couple of times. And one time I did give it the reaction that I was supposed to. And man, we argued for 2 days. 2 days. So the next time anybody pole dance for me, I'm gonna be like, whoo, you go, girl. You better do it, guys. I'm telling you, because it takes a lot of work to get up there and spin. And then if they make a mistake, don't laugh. Don't laugh. Okay. All right. Incredible workout. I'm serious. Y'all it's one of those deals. Ain't nobody admitted nothing yet. Ain't none of y'all said that y'all have done a pole dance for and if you are married in here, you got to be willing to do that for your husband at least once. And if you don't have that in you, but you seen an alien and you seen an extraterrestrial and you've been abducted, you can pole dance. You can do that. Somebody tell me I am too heavy for that, but I did back in 2007. Grey Goose had me loose. I left with $150. See, you see what I'm saying? Dr. Carey says that, look, she said Grey Goose had her loose. All right, then, loosey goosey. Dr. Carey says her husband does it for her. Kia said dance but no pole. What's wrong with the pole? Somebody else said, I'm putting myself through college. All right. They say that all the time, though. I don't know nothing about the strip club, but I do know everybody in the club says, oh, I'm in college. I'm saving for college. Or I'm saving for It's like a line. Do they teach that at the training, and say, before you go out there, just tell these guys that you're going to college, which signals two things. You're young and, you can use the money. And these alpha dudes think whatever. And when they could have been like 50 years old, talking about I'm going to college and use the money. But anyway, I'm not a comedian tonight, but somebody say you got to flaunt it. You got to do it. All right. So there you go. I'm with you. I still haven't seen one person that says they pole dance for their spouse. That is shocking. There's almost 100 people in here, and I know some of you are women. All right. So let's get back on the show, and we'll do with that. She said, I bring home the money bag, no pole dancing, baby. All right. Okay. That's cool. Yeah. So someone says there is an episode on TV show Kings of Queens when Doug had to show Carrie how to pole dance. It was so funny. All right. Okay. That's cool. Oh, well, wait a minute. Celeste says she met someone that actually put themselves through nursing school dancing on the pole. Boy, I showed, don't even tell us what kind of nurse she is. I can just imagine what part of the nursing field she went to after that and said, okay, I'm a professional at this. I know what I'm doing. And your little pole needs some help. That would have been her line. Okay. All right. Don't y'all laugh at that. That's me being facetious here. Laugh at my own jokes. All right, so let's get back on it before people start commenting. He got off track. He's always doing this other stuff, blah, blah, blah. But anyway, we're gonna do that. I know, right? Oh my God! All right, so remember we talked about. Here's the other part: family and friends' reactions when it comes down to this. I'm gonna get y'all back. I got to bring y'all back in this thing right now, and let's discuss the significance of the family role in the social acceptance to our lives when we have fear of jeopardizing these relationships that can lead to silence. Have any of you felt that your family will cut you off, literally, if you were to go forward with your experience or something like that? I know, still no member shout outs. Yeah, we're going to do some member shout outs. Oh, yeah, I forgot to do that. Oh, man, appreciate it. Let's do that. Let's do that right now. We're going to thank Dr. Karras for being a member with us tonight. We have Celeste becoming a member with us tonight. Y'all give her a shout out as well. And then our newest member is Christopher. And thank you for reminding me. So let's give him a shout out for becoming a member as well. It means a lot to do that. Of course, we have our contributors through Super Chat tonight, April. All of them went toward Saucer and Cammie and Judith and all of that. So everybody, thank y'all tonight for really doing that. And as we continue on, hopefully more and more of you want to become a member. And if you do, it is in the link right there. So you can join and become a member, and thank everybody for there as well. All right. So at this point, let's explore how the lack of understanding and empathy within a close-knit circles can deter individuals from sharing their experience. So you got the opposite effect. So imagine you had a close family, and you have everybody's close in the family, and you think you all got this tight niche, and all of a sudden you want to share something that appears to be crazy with them, and they don't respond. They don't give you the empathy. They don't give a darn, or you crazy, or to get away from here with this stuff. And like I said, I probably have felt that and had a part of that. And if not you, a lot of other people have as too, because at the end of the day, there is a challenge when it comes down to having your family and how you're going to react if you're not believed, or they don't really show empathy to your situation. And I think that's something that's really big, and it's something that's happened to a lot of people from there. And so if anybody else ever experienced that, where your family, and next we're going to get into the religious belief to this, right? So have anyone else got to that point to where your family has, really just not responded to you? I know we talked about that earlier. Native V mentioned a couple of things about herself. But at the end of the day, I'm just saying, when it gets down to your friends, some of you think you may have best friends, or you might be in a relationship. How did that work out at the end of the day, or the moment when it came down to one of those things? And I think at the end of the day, it's something that we need to discuss and pretty much from there. But anyway, I meant to say earlier, if any one of you need to hire my seed, she does these designs. She'll do whatever you want. About 50 or 60 bucks. And if you're interested in supporting her to get something done for you, and then I'll promote what she's done for you here, just to make it all win, but you're supporting her, you can send me an email, and she requires 50%. And then once you approve whatever, and then she'll take it from there. And I'm sure somebody will love to have something done, and she will do it. And use contact at Why the Big Secret, or go to whythebigsecret.com, use the contact form, and I'll put you two together, and you will be on my prize list for supporting her in her new venture. And I'll never forget that. And all of you who, yesterday, the checkout was not right for the makeyou2money.com. So that was a problem. It is now fixed. And if you haven't, go back there. You now can check out at that price of $70, and it was a few $100. You want to learn this. Like I said, if you wasn't here yesterday or the day before, I got a phone call from a show producer saying, why are you giving away these covenant techniques and stuff that a lot of us have used, and it may not be what I should have created for the audience. I should have released the Homestead of UFO course first, but I thought that there was a lot of you who wanted to get your message out into the world. And then I also talked about AI and how it's eliminating all these jobs, and people should be at some point really understanding that there may be some other things. Your voice, your messages, your experiences could be brought out, and then content creation is going to never go anywhere. It's not going to go away. Those tools are enhance what we do, but you can do it. So it's makeYouTubeMoney.com. That whole YouTube course, a few hours, I get into some real stuff that you're not going to get anywhere else, because we talk about some of the most covenant techniques to grow in whatever you're doing, right? And so it's $70. I'm going to turn it off tomorrow, the next day, or either I have to price it way back up there and someone buy it. It's still worth it, but I knew a couple of you tried, and it was on test mode, and I didn't know that. So you can now go in there today. YouTube, makeYouTubeMoney.com. Yeah. So if you got a podcast, you got some stuff, you want to understand some of the techniques from the story settings, you want to go get this done. So I'm telling you, go get it done. All right. So all my marketing is done. Let's get back to the show. And it is necessary to do such things. And all right. So religious beliefs. This is important because talking about religious belief may conflict with the notion of extraterrestrial life or experiences, and it's causing individuals to suppress their encounters. When I was married to the she-wolf, she was just going through her new transformation of the religious side of things, and she was really getting deep into church, and some of these small churches, by the way. Boy, that's a whole nother conversation. Oh, my God. When I talk about small little church, y'all, it's a lot goes on there. And so, anyway, and I'm talking about itty bitty. I'm saying that everybody's like right here, size churches, and there's nothing wrong with that if you're doing that. Okay, I'm not talking about you, but she couldn't talk about those things, and for a moment, I felt that I wasn't being supported. Right, and I'm like, you don't support my interests or whatever. And I didn't realize the magnitude of what was really happening. She was incapable at that time due to her experiences and due to the religious veil that kept her into the box of how. Now, she's probably have changed today. I really don't know. And because we have had some conversation last year about aliens. But where I'm going with this is I didn't understand that. So to prevent any of the rest of you, if you're going through that, you got to remember that a person's past is going to dictate how they see some of these things. And I would suggest that you give them a break if they're not really digging in deep on what's going on, and it could be a religious veil, and you can't even see it. Because you got to remember how that old saying, raise a child as a child, and then when he grows older, he's going to think, or operate in what you have from there. Look, Nicole, I went to a small church next to my house growing up. Lord, man, I'm telling you, them small churches, man, let me put it this way. I just watched a podcast on a pastor from a church, and it's not all the pastors, and I'm getting off beat, but he was telling a story of how he preaches in his church and how he preaches these magnificent sermons on Sunday, and usually he said on Sunday night and Mondays is when they mess up. And he was talking about how having sex and how horny or whatever he was, and all the women that would call and leave voice messages and stuff. He was just really going in on it. And I just thought, wow, it's not something we don't know, right? Some people, I've known a couple of these situations. But anyway, be careful on a lot of those areas. But I don't even know why I brought that up. But anyway, for the religious beliefs, you want to reflect on the intersection of faith and personal experiences and the complex dilemmas that this can create. And this is what I was talking about, right? And so Dr. Kara says, was she scared of it? Yes. She was more fear of the situation and just was like, no, I don't want to talk about it. Now, like I said, we've had our moments, not, some months back, last year or some time, where she now realized that my career is in this arena and would have liked to have been supported, but our issues had issues. So it wasn't just about that. And I said this before because in a little bit, and I'm just giving a warning to everyone, we'll be done with this conversation in a few minutes, and then we're going to have our open mic Friday, where we can just talk about any and all things, no matter what it is. So anybody that's done with, when I get to number 25, you can bamboozle if you're done hearing other stuff, and then we're going to get into some raw conversation. So that's just me having a conversation with everybody and having fun, and then even have some call-ins. We're going to do it tonight, okay? And I hope that Phoenix didn't scare y'all off tonight, right? You still can, y'all can pool together. 4 or 5 of y'all can say, hey, we're going to come together, and I can put all of y'all names together, and then y'all can sponsor tonight's show, all right? But Phoenix, thank you. You set the bar really high, and that is great. And I'm saying it like really great. I love it. More than love it, right? All right. Yeah, so one of the things about it was the she-wolf was afraid, and I did see that too, which led me as the man and said, okay, you know what? This is bothering my wife, and let me now stop talking about this stuff. So for about 3 months, I just kind of left it alone. But like I said, our issues already had issues. And so with the same implications that we're seeing now, you're going to see that, right? And so I ended up like, okay, I'm not going to talk about it anymore. But I'm sure that a lot of people face situations like that. And this is why I suggest, and I think I've said it before, that my goals and my hopes of if I enter into new relationships, in which pretty soon, that is my intentions, is to make sure that, they don't have to jump in, all toes and knees into what I'm doing, but at least understand that this is the conversations that I have, these strange conversations, things that I talk about, the emails. And like I said, I read these 2 stories next, and that is something that, happens. And hopefully at that point, and I'm not saying that, that's going to work for everybody. And if you're in a situation or in a relationship with a significant other, and you're having problems communicating with these stories or your experiences, it is time that you need to share those. And I don't know how to do that. I can't give you the medical or the professional way to introduce it, except for talking about it. But I do know that it is something that you want to talk about, because now, even these interests seem to be what is the glue in some of these relationships, right? Because I find it now that depending on, even the individuals or friends that I talk to, can we talk about this or can we talk about that? Or is it all connected to the scenario? And I'll be straight honest, I think it's really, outside a few of you who I talk to every now and then, and some of I do talk to and communicate with, there's a lot of people I don't talk to unless it is about an alien or something, and because that's where their interests are. And then after that, it's not any other place for that, right? And so we have to really do that. What are y'all talking about? Y'all want? I want that. What is that? Wow, that's nice. What, relationships? Y'all want relationships with people y'all can talk to? Is that what y'all saying? I'm just reading the chats. That's dope. April says dope. What's dope? Judith said, I want that. What is that, Judith? Let me know. I need a big book for Magneticus boy. Now that's the comedian. Magneticus is the comedian. All right, so when you say you want, you're talking about relationships, right, Judith? Okay, maybe I misunderstood. All right, yeah. So I mean, that's something that, again, that people have to really understand, And even for me, I did a red carpet event this year. I did. I went to the New Year's Eve party at Billy's house. Then went back down for a birthday party. Each time it's like, hey, you're bringing your +1, and then that's a different trade-off there, because, when you're in that environment, you're not talking about UFOs and aliens because everybody there is just having a good time. They're just talking regular life stuff, right? And so you want to be careful you don't bring somebody in that mix that figured, hey, this is my one moment to share these stories to these people, and they ain't there to hear it, you know? And so that has always been a challenge at a given point, but that's okay. I think it's one of those deals that when you are in those relationships, and if you can tell them everything else, you should be able to tell them what is happening here, no matter how crazy that it get. Cranky Pants says that my comments showing up, the show keeps dipping out on me a lot. I don't know. Someone else texted me earlier and said, hey, you okay? Well, a friend of mine did. And she was like, you know, you haven't started the show yet. And we was 46 minutes in. So I don't know what's happening on the other end of what is happening there. All right. So let me get to the last two, and then we're going to do open mic here. I think, well, let me do the last one here. And that is the ability to articulate. It may be challenged to put these unique experiences into words. And sometimes I get that all the time when I talk to people. People will say, I just really can't explain it. And then I say, well, try to. And then they'll say, you probably think I'm crazy, or you never heard this one. And I'll be like, try me, right? And oftentimes what is hard for them to articulate or to tell, and for me, is not uncommon. So sometimes I will intervene and try to connect the dots and let them know I know what you're talking about because you ain't the first one. And then all of a sudden it tends to work a little bit, but it is. Some of this stuff is hard for people to be descriptive. They just really can't be descriptive when it comes down to this. And oftentimes it is frustrations and the difficulties of trying to communicate something that defies conventional understanding. That's really what you get with. So you can imagine a young baby that's crying, and you're sitting here saying to the baby, tell me where it hurts, right? And they can't tell you. And you getting frustrated. Where does it hurt here? And now you're poking on them, and then they're like, hell, that hurts, shit, you know? And you're doing all of that. But at the end of the day, it's no different than trying to pry the experience out of a person. And you can't do that. You got to let it just flow. And if it can't flow, wait for it, okay? And wait for it at some point. And then I think over time, it will be doing that as well. So, you know, Body Electric says learning social grace is tough. It is. Sometimes, you know, people are just not prepared for that. And it just is, it's a different story from there. And I think it's one of those deals. Kia says, may be hard to explain because of emotion is attached, and most of us to really lack in emotional intelligence. I mean, I get it. I get it. I think there's some truth in what you're saying. All right. And so, all right, I'm going to read these, and I have not went over them totally. So hopefully it's nothing that jumps out. Okay. These are two stories. One is longer than the other. This is someone that emailed. And so if I stop somewhere, that means I'm going to pause on something that I'm like, oh, I better not say that out loud or whatever. But this is in real time, and I printed them up. And then every week we'll do this. If any of you have a story you want to share, you can definitely go to the site. And of course, you'll put in your number and contact information, but I won't say your name and stuff here so that, you know, people that, but, you know, some people saying they do want to share their story. So this person here lives in the state of Missouri. They was born in 1948. In those days, you didn't tell anybody that you had visitors that came to you at night and then took you somewhere, is what this person is saying. At the age of 4, I was talking to adults in my family about mind over matter and logic. I was called weird. I don't have a video. I am an experiencer. From the childhood, I was visited and taken from my bedroom every night until I was about 10 years of age. I never saw a spaceship, but the entities appeared in my bedroom every night and would speak to me telepathically and then take me somewhere. I remember leaving, but I had no memory of what happened to me. It's like my memory was erased. However, I have vivid memories of them coming into my room every night. There was one being that I referred to as the Conehead Boy. He would always step out from behind the big floor, from the floor model radio at night, and take me by the hand, and we would leave. He was light brown with no hair and was the same height as me. All right, so that stands out. We'll get back to that in a minute. And I never knew if he was a child or an adult. And as a child, I assumed that since he was my height, he must have been a child. On the nights that he didn't come to me, I would be visited in my bedroom by a beautiful lady, 2 or 3 other people with her who would talk to me telepathically. Going with them, and again, I had no memory of what we did or where we went. And let me back up just a bit. I was born in 1958, so from 1948 is when I was born. So from 1948 approximately to 1958, this was a regular occurrence. Long before Dan Aykroyd created the characters he called Coneheads on Saturday Night Live, imagine my shock. But I couldn't tell anyone for the fear of being outcasted and teased. They did say they submitted their story to MUFON about 7 to 8 years ago, and they talked to Marjorie Kay, who's in the same city, and their story has been archived by MUFON. And they also said, I enjoy your show, but I did know today that you are a MUFON field investigator, and thank you for being who you are, and I can be reached at this number. All right, so I don't know what y'all think about that, but that was a person that sent in their stuff. But what stood out was when the person was saying, oh, hang on, let me get this thing. My battery's going to go dead. 1 second. All right, had to plug that thing up. We were about to cut off. So anyway, the statement of I did not know how old they were, or it was because it was the same size. And remember that a lot of people reported, because I'm studying something called the grays right now, that there's different types of grays, but some are childlike sizes. And so just because he was the same size, they're thinking, okay, maybe this is another kid, which probably allowed the fear to go with them subside just a little bit, because now you're not fearing you've been taken about something big and blah, 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 right? And so we can do that. Somebody said, call me, Rod, stay safe, going to sky watching. Factory Polo, okay. See, now I don't know. I know who y'all are, but I may not know the username. So if I need to call you, text me so I'll know if you got my number. If not, email or whatever. Contact at Why the Big Secret. So, yeah, what do y'all think about this story before I read the next one? Give me some, if y'all heard it in the chat, and pretty much from there. And I thought it was pretty interesting. Anybody experience anything similar to the story, or, anything in particular from there? Nicole says, I think they intentionally are small to seem non-threatening. That could be. Yeah, that could probably be it right there, right off the bat. And I have another one. They had actually 1, 2, 3, 4 different experiences. So we can read all of them and kind of go over it as well when y'all ready. This just came in a couple of days ago as well. But anyway, anybody going to respond to that? Never heard that one before. Probably an SSP guy with a 20 in the back. Okay. Yeah. So that is one of the deals there. Anyway, if you want to, again, support the show, you can by any ways that you want. It is Friday. It is, the first of what we're doing. If you have not gotten your membership, is right there. All right, so let me go into the next story, if y'all ready for that. The next and the last of this stories. We got 2 that I'm reading out tonight. All right, so the next one says, I I've awakened and I've had many experiences, especially with my third eye open. But these experiences that I have listed here will forever stick with me. I do not want to be on video, but I'm open to a phone call or email if you would like to discuss. You are welcome to share my experiences with the public. All right, so experience number one, she says, I felt I was dreaming, but I was aware of what was happening. I was lying on what looked and felt like a metal table on my side with my arm underneath my head. The atmosphere seemed dreamlike. It was dark in front of me, but I couldn't see the floor. I didn't feel the temperature of the room. I suddenly felt the presence behind me. I lifted my head from my arm to see behind me. I saw a very tall being, yellow in color. There was a light shining behind me, but being from what I thought was the ceiling. Its head was shaped like a starfish. Its eyes was almost shaped, very small nostrils and a mouth. Its body was very thin. Its arms were very thin as well. Its hands was webbed between each finger digit, and it appears on its hands looked round. The hands were very small, no bigger than a 50-cent piece coin. I didn't scream, nor was I afraid. It was as I knew that this being and allowed what was happening to happen. I laid my head back on my arm again as it to rest, and then I felt those hands on my legs, on my thigh, moving around as if it was being examined. Those hands felt like sandpaper on my skin, and once I felt the texture of his hands, I lost awareness. Okay. Whoa. All right. What do y'all think of that? Now, this person had 3 more experiences. And so, yeah, you missed the first story, and we're doing the second one. And, yeah. All right. So let me go with the second story. I was laying in the bed on my right side in a sleepy awake state with my back toward the wall and my night table when I felt the presence behind me. I lifted my head and I looked behind me, and there was a being with a dark gray skin, very round, big head with a mirror-like and almost shaped black eyes, a small nose, a small mouth, staring at me. It didn't seem to have ears. The being was sitting on the floor with what looks like its knees up to its body, as if it was waiting for me to awake. I looked at the being for a second, and my crazy self, laughed out loud, reached out to touch fingers with the being. And as I reached out with my hand, it reached to meet me with its hand. We touched. Its fingers felt solid, as if I was touching another person's fingers. Its fingers wasn't slimy or wet. They felt just like fingers. And as soon as we touched, my awareness stopped, and the being was gone. I didn't feel afraid in this instance. There was no emotions involved. Okay. All right. There's the second experience, and there's 2 more of this person. All right. Anything y'all want to discuss on this before I move on from there? All right. So again, here's the experience number 3. I was coming up from a deep sleep, but I felt aware of my surroundings. Lying in bed, my forehead was throbbing, and like a headache, it throbbed. And when I felt the vibration, wow. Okay, let me change this up for them. Look, now I'm getting tongue twisted. Okay, all right. So they're saying they was lying in their bed, and their forehead was throbbing, not like a headache throb, but it felt like a vibration is high, and my third eye was really buzzing. Okay, we're good. I got you. And so I had a chair next to my bed, and I saw the woman sitting on a chair, and she looked like me. She was glowing in a light silvery blue color. She was aware of me as I watched her, and she looked solid sitting there, staring off into space, looking like she was in deep thought. She had a tank top on and shorts, and her hair was nice, and she was rubbing her left elbow as though she was rubbing lotion or something onto her skin. Something I would do. I was intrigued and asked, "What are you putting on?" But she wasn't aware and didn't answer. It felt like a couple of minutes looking at this woman, and she slowly started to fade away, and buzzing in my head calmed down. The woman looked like me. She was a little thinner, but it was uncanny, and say the least. Later, I thought about doing some research. This experience was a parallel version of my possibility of another timeline. All right. Okay. So the last one here is experience number 4. And she said, I was definitely dreaming and asleep in this instance, but it felt like I lived it myself. I was in a sword fight with a woman. I was a man myself. I was dressed in a long white robe that had tassels hanging from it like a belt. I had so much rage. I was very upset. And unfortunately, this other man caught my neck with the sword, and I fell back, and my head was decapitated. And as I was on the ground, I felt life force leaving me, but I still had the rage as I was dying. I learned that this was a previous life issue I needed to close by granting forgiveness. To who? To the person that chopped the head off? All right. So, okay. Those are the stories. What do y'all think from there? And if y'all want to say why these encounters happen when these people are as wide awake doesn't. Maybe, I don't know, Sonia, why it doesn't happen while they're wide awake. And really don't know. That would probably be the dream state of it all. I think most people felt that they may have been awake, but at this point, I don't know. So who knows? Someone said it sounds like some past life memories. Gotcha. D said, I've seen my enlightened self, and initially it freaked me out. Body Electric says, kind of scary. Native V says, I think that's visiting from other dimensions. Kia would say, I was thinking about that, a parallel world. Okay. Yeah. So to focus on reality, maybe. I don't know. Sonia says Native Americans have often stated the dream world is another reality. All right. So I think that's some of the things that we could consider and kind of see from there. All right. So those are the last 2 stories. And basically, we are done. If y'all want to hang around a little bit, we can talk about anything y'all want right now. Otherwise, for those of you, the show of me talking about the 27, and I got to 22 of them, is basically done. It is Friday, and we're definitely know that some of you got to get out and go on your dates or wherever you're going to go. And thank all of you, and those who are in relationships. And if you, tonight may be the night that you want to share your personal story with the person you're in a relationship with, and you can kind of do that. I think that'll be cool. And really cool when it gets down to that you can talk to somebody about it. And once again, Monday, we're going to give away 2 tickets to the Conscious Award that we have that was donated here to the show. And so we're going to be doing that on Monday. And then definitely, I think we'll have a good time of doing that. Someone says, Roderick, you get my email. Let me see. Let me see as far as boom. Anyway, Kia, when did you send it? I got an email, I think, the other day. Let me make sure. You're talking about the lights in Las Vegas. Yeah. You were saying that someone said that there was more lights in Vegas or something. If that's what you're speaking of, okay. Open mic question. All right. So, all right, Doc. I'm gonna call you on the phone. Let me see if I can connect it to this thing first. Let's do that. Yep. Hopefully you're sitting by your phone, and then I will call. But I got to make sure it's connected to this system and see if it's working over here. The last few times it had not been working, and it's like been really, really tough here. Yeah, hang on. Let's see. All right, let's see if we can, if it's working. Yeah, y'all hear it? It's working. It is working. All right, Doc, we're calling you. You got to answer. I wonder.
Hi, you've reached the voicemail of Dr. Kira Stillin. I currently am a professor part-time.
You hear your voice, don't you?
I also have a YouTube channel, which is by the name of Dr. Kira Stillin, as well as a podcast known as On My Last Neuron with Dr. Kira Stillin.
All right, so we're going to leave a message.
Feel free. Otherwise, you can use my email account, which is
All right, we're gonna leave her a message, y'all.
ON1976 @yahoo.com. Thanks for your call, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible.
All right, let's see. All right, let's.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
All right, so Doc, I don't know if you hear me, but hey, can you hear me?
Hello, doctor. This is Roderick. Can you hear me? We need you. We need you right now. Answer the freaking phone, okay? I had to disguise my voice so she don't really know it's me, but I did say Roderick. Answer the phone now, okay? We calling. I'm gonna call back again. All right. Let me try it.
All right, so hopefully I disguise my voice so she doesn't know it's me, and then we'll just kind of go through that as well. And she says it's not calling me. I did call you. I'm calling in. We just heard your voicemail. We're doing it again.
There we go.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Yeah, we was calling. Okay, so I hear something in the background. You might want to turn that down a little bit. Okay, you good?
Okay.
But you are live on the air right now.
Cool. Very cool.
So
I have so many questions.
Let's go.
That I want to ask you about that Dr. Greer thing.
Mhm.
The first one was he made a reference to a lot of the UFOs being seen by people right now are man-made, that we have taken the technology over the past many years and we've developed this without the people knowing about it. What do you think about this?
I think that's a great question, and it's good that you observed that, because what people don't tend to understand is that we have to test these spy planes. They're going to test technology. And even when we had the Chinese balloons at that time, and when they did the press thing at the White House, and one of the reporters eloquently said, this is not our stuff. And the guy kind of grinned to say that it wasn't from space. It was either some multinational corporation technology. And what people don't understand, Doc, is that oftentimes when something crash, it's not just our government who gets there and pick these things up. So when you think about Elon Musk, you think about all these other multinational companies that have probably just as much money as the government to spend. They have their own satellites. They have their own retrieval teams. And so when whoever get there first, it's theirs. The government can't claim it if they don't know it exists. And this is what people don't understand. So that lends to why we will have spacecraft flying around that we could think is alien, but it is one of these companies that have reverse engineered and getting themselves ahead with technology. So that happens all the time.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find Dr. Greer to be, do you believe him? Do you believe the witnesses that are coming forward? I mean, that special really kind of threw me for a loop. It was nothing I'd ever heard before.
I think that, let me start with Dr. Greer. He's been around a very long time, and I think he's, like he said it live in the conference, I'm not going to be here another 30, 40 years. He knows that, right? We're talking, basic human, lifespan here. Now, he's been around it. He knows where some of the bodies, where we use that terminology, is buried. And the fact, and what's happening right now is that this is not the first time that he has implemented a press conference to shock the world And so therefore, it's like the boy who cried wolf, but not in his case, because he came out with what we call the receipts, right? He showed the receipts. But the rumor has it on his end that he has a safety net policy or something where, something happened to me, this right here is going to come out, right? And I think he's talked about it before. So because you got to understand what happened this past press conference, and then let's not go with what we saw the witnesses say. Let's not go with all of the government people that were standing up, the ex-military, all of that.
Right.
What people really need to focus in is this dude offered to show a map where 150 black ops programs right up to their doorway that are supposed to be secret.
Wow.
Now you're talking being the enemy of the state or the whatever, because there's people who got secrets and they will kill to keep them. And now you get ready to expose our company secrets, and you giving a map. Now you have, which on this side of the fence, I think he did a great job, is that he's getting ready to create a fiction among the thieves, right? And so now you have competitors that are going to go spy on those competitors. You got the government going to say, I wonder what they got. We need to go in there and take it in the name of national security. So I think he created something bigger.
Have you in the past ever known him to give, he very much said 6 months. These companies have 6 months to come forward. And he really gave him a deadline. I don't know if he's done that in the past.
I think he, I was watching that, and I had some interpretations of why would he do that. It's almost he was giving society a decision too, like there's something coming. And so it was bigger than more just a company. It was like everybody. So it could coincide with the rumors of we may have this in, I'm not trying to use the word for you two to kind of flag, but they're coming to, be in our sphere, a bunch of them, we'll have to use the word. But so, having the alien eye is what I would call the word. But having him saying stuff like that and then giving these ultimatums of dates was really confusing to me, because I'm like, okay, what are we talking about here? Is something coming? And, what's happening? Is the aliens saying that they're going to prevail? And so what scary notion would that be if the aliens decide to reveal themselves? What do they have to do with the companies, right? They don't care. So, I was watching his body language very close too. And,
there was no indication that I saw that there were a couple things where he knew that he couldn't say more on it, but his body language was pretty dang straightforward, and I didn't see a lot of indicators of lying. So that was another, time that really, it just shocked me, because I'd never heard of a worldview like that before.
Well, once again, we're talking more about, so he laid out, number one, all of these crimes on humanity that they're going to try to sue, which makes sense if they can prove it, or maybe not the government, and maybe they may not succeed, but they will rattle the fences, right? Or the snakes in the grass, whatever they want to call it. Now, the fact that you got these witnesses and all this makes it even great, because these are the whistleblowers, people coming forward. And like I said, but the most scary part of this is, what did he mean? Like I said, I was glued right there. Like, what are you talking about? Something is coming. Now I've seen rumors that Oumuamua has now, they've spotted it. It's supposed to be on its way back. I don't know if that's legit. I still got to investigate it. But
what's it called?
Oumuamua. That was a celestial object that came in our atmosphere about two or 3 years ago, and it came in, and the way it moved, they thought it was an asteroid, but the way it moved, it kind of navigated itself around our sun or wherever, or Earth or whatever, and then it picked up speed to go back where it came from. And that was something that alerted everybody. It's almost like some say, okay, I found him, I'm on my way back. And right after that is when we initiate the Space Force, and all of that stuff got hit really hard. Like, let's put this stuff together. So obviously,
well, and they really didn't talk a ton about Space Force and what its goals were. They just said, "Oh yeah, we have a Space Force now."
Well, you mean when they put it together? Well,
yeah, when they first
they tried to hide it under the pretense that, you know, it's more for like satellite technology, you know, monitoring missile forces and all of that stuff. But, you know, another thing that I'm learning, and I'm going to do a show on it, and I'm studying it behind the scenes, is I'm studying the Galactic Federation, right, and what is happening there. And I started looking at, you know, one of the symbols that the Galactic Federation uses, and on their main logo that they're supposed to have, and how it is integrated into all of our research and space logos. And so it's almost like there is some higher force and collective working. And so there's a story on the side of that. And so I'll be kind of doing like either a mini doc on that or pretty much. But
that'd be fascinating. Definitely.
So there's a lot of stuff.
Were you surprised by all the intricate drawings too that came across during his presentation?
No,
I was just dumbfounded by all the.
I mean,
from him to have drawings of this is the man-made version, this is the actual, you know, UFO version or UAP.
I mean, somebody had to reenact those, right? Or talk to the person, describe what you see, and we're going to draw it out. And so, especially when you think about the one that the guy saw the spaceship, and then of course the human thing behind it. So one of those things there is, and I'm not trying to say the second word because they flagged my last one, and I don't. I haven't built up enough contributions yet to where I can care about the little ads that YouTube's run, but we're getting there. Once the memberships area and grow, then we can say whatever we want. They're going to cut me out the ad program, but we can talk, and I hadn't got there yet. But you know, having that particular photo redrawn and showing those things, on one hand, in a legal world, somebody said, well, that's not enough evidence. Somebody drew that. Okay. On the other hand, for us in the curiosity world, it gives us an idea of what was happening and what the person saw, right? But court systems use sketch artists all the time. They do.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's valid, right? It's valid to arrest somebody. Here's a sketch artist of what the person, the culprit looked like. And now I'm arrest you because you look like this sketch artist picture, right? So you get what I'm saying? And so they try to debunk it, but then we use them every day. So so all of those things are pretty open when it comes down to this interpretation of what's going to be known. But he did a good job. He did a good job providing receipts. He did a good job, I think, of telling the story. Now, the surprising part of this is that we had the whistleblower who was, which is fine. I'm still not against him. I just didn't like some of the back end stories. But his story was already orchestrated a little bit or cultivated from the big secret keepers because they let him know what you can and what you can't say. So it's like you can say what you want, but you can't say this. But then here is Stephen Greer doing a whole press conference. And within the next 2 days, we didn't hear nothing about it.
That was strange.
And it wasn't one or two press companies saying, okay, we're going to cover the story. We're going to be the outliers and do this thing, right? But no one covered it. They like, and so you talking about a powerful cabal-like system that said, this man may have so much truth, and we're not going to chance any of it. Shut this down. Now, surprisingly, the video is still up on YouTube. and all of those things. So that make you go, okay, was it that bad? YouTube could be part of this thing, and maybe they're not. But at the end of the day, YouTube is not considered a national place. Okay, you may get 1 million views. We're not talking 5, 20, 30 million people watching this thing. So,
Right.
and then it's picked up by other news stations who then perpetuate it to a bigger stance. And so that was shocking enough that no one, that it didn't go anywhere from there. And I'm sure he expected this point. I'm giving you enough stuff that this is going to rattle the boat. So,
Did you feel exhausted watching? I mean, 20 minutes into it, I was so overwhelmed. I was like, I almost had to stop it, but I couldn't stop myself. I was like, I got to listen. I got to understand. Because we've been wondering for so long, like, you know, why the big secret? And to hear that it might be other companies, you know, that have gotten in there and done that, that was just shocking.
But I think that was the silver lining, that people really didn't really see how deep this thing goes, because it was bigger than just our government, right?
Yeah.
And so people should have seen the spider web of what is really happening and how deep the rabbit hole goes and how big that it gets out there. So yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah,
it was a
amazing.
long show, and you know, I sat there, but what you probably got tired of, for a minute, is after the witness stood up, and then they probably told the first part of what they're talking about. And then just like anything else, you'll get somebody that will tell you their experiences, and then you heard the first one, and then all of a sudden it maps into 5 others, and now you're like, okay, I'm lost now, you know. So even then, you know, there was a couple of guys that was telling their stuff, and you're like, okay, that's cool, but you know.
Do you think with the things that he held back, that he's hoping that they come forward with it first before he has to let it out there? Why do you think there was that? He definitely held a lot of stuff back.
Well, I think he might have held something back, what we probably seen in a live coverage, but he also mentioned, and this is what I'm trying to figure out how to get my hands on, that they created, I think he said several hundreds of thumb drives that would supposedly have had all of this stuff on it, right? And and so at this point they was giving them out, so a lot of people got information. So I'm sure what was on the thumb drive is nothing compared to what you can say within a couple of hours, because he just didn't have time. So
Absolutely.
I really don't know what he held back, as opposed to anything in the thumb drives was it considered held back. It was just given to the press. But again, I think
we definitely opened up the can. You know, I think we're going to have a little bit of time, and then we're going to get hit again with it, because I really feel like he opened it up.
We are probably. I think he opened up stuff outside of military industrial complex, right? He brought it home in a civilian format, from what is happening to us on a civilian level. Because if you think about one of the stories that the guy was talking about in the jungle, from the human stuff and all that.
Yeah.
All right. Yep. So now it takes you from one moment, and I don't even think anybody was focusing, and still don't focus on the fact that they were being loaded into a space-looking craft, as opposed to the situation of the human thing, right? And so everybody's focusing on that, but not saying, wait a minute. Once again, this guy saw a spacecraft with non-gravity, non-gravity capability. It was floating, sitting sustained in air, loading up cargo without ropes. Okay, so the technology that was sitting there, but is man-made, should have. I understand the horrific incidents of what was going on underneath that, but now that tells you we got a problem, and this is probably what Stephen Greer is talking about. Because while we are thinking it's almost like the extraterrestrials are sitting somewhere crying. They keep blaming all the sightings on us. It ain't us.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Why are they blaming it on me?
Yeah.
And the abductions, it ain't me. You know what I'm saying? And it's almost like they're doing that privately, probably. And we are using that scenario to create and go through covert operations. And that's scary. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It makes me wonder how much of this stuff is going to be related to, I think it's going to open up whole problems. Like he kind of talked about that with green energy and, how that's got to shift within the next 6 months, or, it was like he was putting potential things on the table, and it was like, okay, are you saying that, that some other species is going to do something about it if we can't take care of it ourselves? That's what I kept wondering.
And I think that's what we could think about it, but in hindsight, like I said, he's not in a position to sit here and threaten the scenario, right? Or saying, okay, y'all better do this or this is going to happen, because easily.
Yeah, because the government is not in charge, it sounds like.
Yeah. So I think it's one of those things that I'm not sure. So
yeah,
I would love, like I said, to get my hands on the stuff, right? The disc, but I knew that tickets at the time, if I'm not mistaken, was like $900 or something.
He was selling them?
Well, tickets to come to the event, yeah. So
okay.
yeah,
Gotcha.
so people paid it. I would have paid it if I had the money. I would have went. I mean, without a shadow of a doubt, right? So
that's where I think it would, like, if that stuff comes up, you should let us, all your community, know, because we can always chip in.
Listen,
I mean, that gives us information too.
I mean, you know what? I think you now you're touching on like a UFO subject within the community, right? So, unidentified funding and whatever. Unidentified funding operation, for Why the Big Secret.
Yeah.
I think you make a great point, but I don't think that message conveys to the collective. There are a few people here within our group that I could turn to and say, hey, I'm trying to go on this trip. Now, for me, it gets a little point of how long does this go, right? How long do I have to go through the hardships personally to deliver information? And because I don't know if you missed it yesterday, but I was going through a lot 2 days ago, as up to yesterday, prior to, because it takes a lot on the backside of what's happening.
Oh, yeah.
I get invited to all these events that I can go to, but I can't go to, and all of those things. But yet, I believe in time, because it's growing. The channel is growing. The increments of everything is getting bigger. It's just some things are happening faster than it's getting bigger. So, yes, that would have been great to, come to the organization or the community and say, I want to go take this trip, and pretty much. And I think that even now when I'm saying people get memberships, get stuff, because I don't think people really understand the severity of, some of these channels when the YouTube says, okay, we're not going to monetize your channel. And so they don't take you off the air in some cases, but they'll say, we're going to demonetize. And see, and that happened over with Forbidden Knowledge with some of my shows. So I get a phone call. He was like, look, one of these videos you put up, and I put it in a thing, but they're threatening to demonetize. Now, he gets big money from his channel. I can't be the threat of that. So
no, right.
I can go over there and do my live streams and then tell everybody we're going to go over here to start them out. Or I can upload, little content videos. Or like last week I did a interview with Paul Wallace where we're talking about his book. He's a pastor. We knew we weren't going to get into no heavily verbiage. And so I have to pick and choose what happens there. But I would love to, just like you said, be that one to go out there and get the guts for what we need. And And I'm glad, like I said, I'm able to share this because, yesterday's comment, there was somebody, and I don't focus on all of that a lot, but they was like, well, why, I wish you would just wait and, congratulate people, blah, 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 or it's just so disturbing that, and they mean well. I get what they're saying. It's a distraction. Yes, it could be. And it's not something
Right.
I would do a year from now once this channel has built up and things are flowing from all the different avenues and
Yep.
things on autopilot. But in the interim to do, it is so grateful to be able to say, okay, I want to thank everybody graciously that has given, doing what we call here at the bottom, whoever's the next sponsor, gamification of it, making it fun. People are supporting, but they're also claiming their space. And I'm hoping, but I wish people would see it, but they don't. Some people don't because there was other people who liked it. Like somebody else was like, girl, yeah, I see what you're saying. And I don't want to be like, hey, I'm sorry, I can't do this. But then probably, and I'm not saying this to be true, but those very people are not supporting the channel financially. But okay, they can give their time, their viewership. I enjoy it. That's fine. But so they're missing the point and they want to take from it and say, we need you to give uncut information so I can get what I'm going to get from you and be gone by my day. And you're going to saying, and I understand it, but then I'm saying, wait a minute. And then, of course, to the collective, I can give more if I can do more. So I have this big speaker that's coming, and I've talked to a couple of people privately on the donation that I have to make, not to that person, but to their charity, okay, which is cool.
Right.
And I've been trying to raise money for that. I've had some people to donate a little bit because I only told a couple of people privately. But I can't come out here on this show and say, we're going to have such and such guests. I need y'all to give so that the guest, and then he gets a bad rap or she, because they're thinking they're asking for money when it's a charity thing. However, you're going to say,
I think just being honest and saying, they have this charity. And I think people, especially if they want the person there, they want to jump in and help too. Mm-hmm. I understand it. I mean, it takes a lot, especially when you're trying to get something up and growing. Mm-hmm. But it's I've had some time off and I've seen the growth coming back again. I'm like, wow, this community has really changed a lot. Like the people are so supportive of each other and getting to know each other.
And it's good. And so there's a select few that my goal is to stand eventually on my own. And that is to, and how can I put this lightly? So even now, it's a challenge, and I say this and I put this on the airwaves. So one of the reasons, number one, that I am not even in personal relationships, because I understand the landscape of where I'm at and what it's going to take, because I chose a route that is a long game. Okay, this is not a overnight for the faint of hearts to build a YouTube podcast, but it is a great one if you can achieve it, and I am achieving it, right? And it will do something for years to come for the family and whoever I'm in that relationship with, and we cultivate a brand of what we're doing, right? And I use the word we because hopefully that person will come along and help me on the business side. I mean, I have so many little parts that's moving, right? So, and I'm only saying this to say, not to be inadequate of saying, but I don't need the frustration of having somebody in my life that I have to now become the responsible person that I am, the provider, and I have to then make a decision between doing this for the future or being a provider right now. And so I think God has done a great job of putting me in a place to where I have to depend on, not depend, but to protect what I'm doing for the audience, for the people. But I am ready to get in deeper. I'm ready to get out there and visit those places. So as I try to build the audience bigger so that sponsors would come and say, okay, we'll support the show. Because when I had 1,000 people, they didn't want to hear it. Now I get some conversations now because it's now 14,000. Yeah. So,
I think though, when you're going off to places, let us know, because that, that's only going to make you better because you're going to bring back that information. So
Yeah.
again, I think that's
and I think that, okay, so let me put it here. One of my ideas was, so even with Project Black, which was going to allow me to go out and really go to some of these other events and ask them why we don't, because you go look at them, they don't have black people at these events, right? It's like there's not a lot there, and not a lot of representation for people to come to those events, okay? So my goal was when I did, are you there? You hear me? I hear something.
Yep,
in the
I'm
background.
here.
Okay. All
well,
right.
my phone is about dead here.
Oh, okay. So do we need to hang up? Or are you good?
No, I'm good for probably a couple minutes.
Okay. All right. So am I not like good enough to go get a charger?
No, you're fine.
I mean, am I like special enough to get a charger? I mean, I thought you were going to say my phone's about to go dead. Let me get my charger. Not like let me get dead and we're not going to talk anymore, Roderick.
No. My phone is so I have a recliner that I was trying to put it into, like the charger's in the recliner.
Oh,
so I just didn't want it to make a lot of noise for
Okay, why
you.
don't you make some noise? I'll mute you out. I'm going to mute you out real second here, and I'll keep talking, and then we'll go from there, okay?
Okay.
Right. I'm going to mute you out for because I won't hear you to come back. No, I'll hear you. They just not going to hear you, okay? One of the two.
All right, can you hear me okay?
We can hear you okay. All right, so you're good. But I think they'll get through it. But, all right, so where I was going with this is, so even with Project Black, there's places I need to go. There's events these same event, I want to go and represent what we're doing to bring an awareness so that we can get everybody involved. So even here on YouTube, I set up a $99 Project Back collaboration part, right? And in hopes that if 20, maybe 30, 40 people over time contribute to that stage, then we're ready, because YouTube will take their 40%, but it's enough now that we can have our live events. I can put money into different stories and different stuff. And so that is so those are the things that we have to look at, but then I have to also be careful enough to not overstress the need for support, because then some people get a little iffy. But I will say there are some people here that have shown their true colors, and their colors of love and support have just come out of the blue. And I would probably not even be here if it wasn't for some of those people that have done that. And I can't wait till if I can share with them all the stuff that's behind the scenes next year is supposed to be happening. If it does, money is not an object. But I definitely want to honor all of those people, whether they have small businesses, wherever I can do from where things are going, that I can look back and say, those people were there, and now let me use the influence to pull them up to and whatever they got going on. So it's gonna happen, in time.
Yep, absolutely. I've seen a lot of growth. I've been gone for a couple months, and I've seen tremendous growth. Sometimes it's just good to kind of write down where you're at right now, and then 3 months down the road, look back at it, and I think you'll be astounded at how much growth you have seen there.
Yeah, but it's a Tyrannosaurus. I mean, the growth is like a velociraptor. It eats, it wants, so like they have an event, I think something in, where is this? This is going to be in Arizona, I think. There's going to be like a UFO night thing. All right, some people might say, I want to go. That's going to be a fun event. But it's also a good networking event, because we're going to meet some people. All right, so I got some bad audio a little bit. So I don't know what we're getting from your phone, but it's all right.
Sorry.
It's all right. It's cool. So it's one of those things that you have to really gauge out. But yes, my dream, and I've been told by other people that have gotten premonitions, or they get words from the universe that, there's going to be some benefactors that may come behind the scenes, because I want to do documentaries. I want to do a lot of stuff that we can do, and I got the connections, right? And so it can be an investment that a lot of people can make money with too. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
So, but all right.
It'll
So,
come.
all right. Anything else for get you out of here or what?
No, thank you so much. It's been wonderful to just get your.
Well, we still got to catch up. So I'm going to call you tomorrow.
Okay.
And I'll try again. Right.
Something's going on with the phone because your name's not coming up with when you call. But
Well,
yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you text me before you call? Then I'll know.
Yeah, my daddy told me that like 30 years ago, and I haven't heard from him since. He was like, son, your name don't come up on my phone. So, I'm a little touched when I hear that. No, I'm just kidding. I'll call you tomorrow, though. I'll call you.
All right. Sounds great. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, y'all. That's Dr. Karis Dillon. Make sure y'all check out her podcast and YouTube channel. I think it was the Neuron, Beyond the Neuron. What is that? My last neuron. So y'all make sure y'all check that out in pretty much. But yeah, so y'all hearing the intimate side of things, and it is a situation that happens out here. And I know a lot of you will be supportive at some point, but it also are limitations to that in some cases. And there are people that probably is doing well that could support these ventures and everything else. And like I said, I got some great people that do now, and sometimes they give so much is like, wow, and sometimes myself be like, man, I want to give like they're giving to me, you know what I'm saying? And I want to be there for others too. And so, you really put that out and put things there as well. So, and I think it's one of those things that is pretty cool today. I know it's pretty late. We'll get ready to get out of here in just a second and maybe find a mastermind of ufologists. They're already out there, Body Electric. All right, so the issue, or not issue, but the deer in the headlights thing is there are some that already have their collective groups, right? And if I could share with y'all some of the things I deal with, even in the TV side behind this, being who I am in representation when it gets here on TV, it's a big difference. Excuse me. It can be a big deal. So that was another reason of forming. See, with Project Black, my other back end was hoping at some point to have our own organizations. And like I said, it's not, this can be the last time. It's not just for Black people. It's just we're focusing on that area that's disproportionately represented, right? So, but eventually we're going to need our own databases. We're going to need, as Project Black, where people could then turn in photos, turn in things. And so I don't know how to get there, but yeah, because you got to create that environment where people want to talk. And it's going to be accessible for everybody, and everybody's going to want the data because it's going to be new data. It's going to be stuff that we haven't heard on documentaries. We haven't seen over here. We haven't seen over there. So people are going to be intrigued with finding out that there's new data and new information, and why not new stories, new evidence, new everything, because it's a whole untapped reservoir of collective experiences that we should be able to access and do it. But again, we can't do it just here. I can't do it just begging, because the people with the stories are not even watching us yet. And I haven't figured out how to make some content go viral enough, or how to get everybody to share it everywhere collectively. And how to make sure we draw in that. So I do have a different plan. So that's why every Thursday is going to be Project Black Nights. So we can start trying to tailor nights and expectations to this thing. But we are really ready to explode, and it will help when we do that. But the funding side of it is necessary, but that's a broken record because everybody knows that, right? So I think all the people that give all the time, and when we do this sponsor stuff, and some of that stuff goes straight direct toward the Cash App, I'm able to use it. And then I'm able to do what I'm doing full-time sparingly, and as well as with the ambition of growth. I got book deals, TV deals. I got all these things that's in the mix, but the surviving to get there is the other part of this. And so I'm definitely, working on that. Anything else anybody say before we say good night to each and every one of y'all? I'm just here. I'm going to be here a little bit. I'm not going anywhere. I could stay here all night too, but I'm not going away. I'll be here another couple of hours here at the office here, working and working on the website, working on a few other things. And like I said, if you hadn't had an opportunity, you know, definitely get over there and get your, you know, the program, the YouTube thing. You make money, you know, make YouTubemoney.com, because it is going to be good for somebody. That's all I can say, for somebody. And then it will work from there, and pretty much. So I'm not for sure where we would go in this particular mindset. And just checking something here. Yeah, just checking something here. All right. So, yeah. So is there anything I can do for anyone, or any questions or any conversations we can have as a collective? If we hang around or get on out of here, is there anything else? I was going to get my beard shaved tomorrow, but I'm going to wait till. I'm not doing anything for 4th of July. I wish I can go see some fireworks or something. Anybody got fireworks here in Dallas? Fireworks. But anyway, Magneticus says, ever ask for $1 and then the person, then give the person more than $1? Hey, man. Watch out now. I know that now. My daughter called. She asked for 10. Dad, can you cash out me $10? I'll do 15. I already know. So, yep. So I think we know the whole routine. Anything else? Anybody? Any conversations or anything we want to talk about tonight while we're here? I will definitely get us to understand anything in particular. Now, y'all been here tonight. We haven't said anything, but I'm already looking. YouTube has already flagged this video tonight. And y'all are here. I didn't say nothing really bad at all. So that is crazy stuff, right? But it happens. It definitely happens. Yeah, let me look in here, see what else we got to do or going to do. Anything else? All right, so anything else? Let me look back in the comments. Let's see what we got. You can call back 2 more after 11:30. Never got my voicemail, but I'm free most of tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow. All right, so we can do that. Interesting. I don't quite believe in any stores, but sounds like a good storyteller. I don't quite believe any of these stories, but sounds like a good story. What are you talking about, Jay? Explain, please, sir. I've given 5 stars to people who gave me $1. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, so outside of that, I'm just checking before I get out. Is there any questions, any UFO things that we need to talk about? Jay is a doubter. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out what Jay is talking about. Never heard of these stories. I would like to know the different beings. I'm studying that right now, Infinity Source Energy. There was a book by David Composer, whatever his name is, and whatever the guy's name is. But anyway, I'll find it. I have it at home. And he says there are 80 different species out there, like 80 different freaking species. And so you read the tree, you read the tree earlier. Jay, I'm not really understanding what you're saying. You read the tree earlier. So, yeah, if you can help me out, bro, that'll be good. Then I can kind of, just kind of make it a little longer so I can understand what's happening, if you don't mind, sir. So I'm not for sure about all the different species. They're claiming that there are so many, but what I'm studying right now is there's supposed to be all these different species of grays, and I'm going to do a show next week on that, and then I got video clips and stuff that we can use as references. And he said the stories you shared earlier. Oh, okay, gotcha. All right. Yeah, I was going to say there's books about the subject. Yeah. Yeah. And so, so I think that, knowing that there's supposed to be, because when I was looking for the grays, I started studying the Andromedans, and then there was the Palladians, then there was the reptilians, the Draconians, then you got the small grays, the tall grays, the white grays, and then the list just keep going on and on and on. And so it's like, I'm like, whoa, when is your daughter selling the shirt? It's done. I actually, the first shirt sample of it is already here. If you want one sent out, Droney, you could, with shipping and everything, I'm gonna just say $30 because shipping could be $7 to $6, and I could say 22 plus shipping. You're gonna pay the same. But if you want to cash app the size, and this can come in any color. She made the design for me, and then I'm gonna print them up. But I'm not gonna do a lot of them. Wait, because actually, if you get one, you're gonna see a new brand, not the Why the Big Secret, but a trademark brand that I'm working on, and then I'll put that on there instead, so you can have the first one of those, which is going to be pretty cool. So, but then we can do any color shirt. That designer go on any color. So if you want, you can cash app it, and then you can tell me. But she will make other designs for other people, not extra alien stuff, because that's mine. She's going to create me a bunch of stuff for my line. But if you need work. But if you want one of those shirts, and once again, if you didn't know, this is what he's talking about. My daughter, it's just on black, but this will go on any other colors. And so it's an extraterrestrial with the beanie cap, with the logo up at the top, real cool, holding an iPhone. I started to tell her, put these captions on there talking about, I prefer a Galaxy, right? To kind of play on words, and say I prefer Galaxy because he's using an iPhone or Android there. But I like how she put the reflection in the eyes and the glow. She was real meticulous about it. She does a lot of Pokemon stuff that she does. And so she's really cool. I'm going to support my seed, my offspring, my child, my daughter. And so anyway, if anybody want that and you're listening, Droney, you could definitely let me know, and we can do that. Which ones are helping us? Well, supposedly what I was learning, Infinity Source, was that the Galactic Federation, who supposedly be overseeing, have rules not to intercede in anything that we do. So it's like, it's no different than we have here as a human, that we're not going to go into the Amazon jungle and mess with the indigenous populations there. And so those things is supposed to be the rules. Now, when I interviewed Paul Wallace, he talked about Project Earth. Now, those are things that I've heard and talked about too. I have not talked to you all. I have not talked to you all about doing a show about Earth being a prison planet. I haven't talked to you about some of the stories and what's really happening and how our past and things have happened here, and deliberately, because I want to make sure that when I put this content out there, we can do this. But there's a lot of stuff I don't even touch on that I could spill out here, and pretty soon I plan on doing it. And if I'm gonna go that deep, then I better have these memberships up or channel support up, because it's done. The monetization is done, right? And so there are a lot of stories and things that a lot of other channels talk about, but they have huge audiences, they have huge support systems, and so they don't rely on what I'm relying on. And I don't make a lot of money from YouTube right now anyway, but it's still more than enough. So there are some stuff out there we can get into that I think people would love to hear. But I do talk among some of the people privately about some of this stuff. So, yeah. And so they're not really helping us per se, but then there's another side of the fence. There's a trade-off for technology for us. And there's a huge, it's a huge scenario. Yeah, I can show y'all now. I can do a screenshot right now, and y'all heard what we're talking about. I'm gonna do it now. I'm gonna go in my back office here for a second and see live. Let me see what happens. Hold on. And let's do this right. Oh, not that one. What the heck? That ain't gonna work. Let me flip that around. Oof. Ooh, y'all. Yeah, I'll show y'all. Let me just see if I can get it, if it's in real time. Okay, yeah. Yeah. All right, so I'll have to do it another time. But anyway, mess up trying to. But yeah, so it's okay. They do that. They flag different stuff, and it's just it's two types. You get copyright strikes, and then you get flag stripes, and stripes that'll say, okay, this is not suitable for people. And so they'll do that. According to Linda Moulton Howe, tall whites and Nordics are helping us. They supposedly be, and I was looking at some stuff that she said last night, so that was part of some of the learning that I was doing, but I don't see it. I see what she's saying, but I don't see, much other side of that. But supposedly Earth is a planet where there's a lot of testings that has been happening here, and that a lot of people are claiming, and there was supposed to be some wars outside of what we know that is saying that they're claiming Earth, right? So we can get into a lot of that stuff and start having those conversations, but like I said, I can't do it right now until we grow more, okay? So when we grow more, and then let's roll it out there. We can do it. I'm with y'all. All right, so let me go over to and say, happy to all our new members, and thank y'all for joining. There's a link if you haven't done it, and let's just give a shout out again real quickly. We have Dr. Karras, who's a new member. Celeste is a new member, and Chris is a new member. April gave a super chat tonight. Thank you, April Coleman there. And Saucer gave a super chat tonight. Laura gave a super chat tonight. And Cammie gave a super chat tonight. And so all of you, I want to thank every last one of you for supporting tonight. It is Friday. I will be back on Monday. Is Monday a holiday? Hang on. I'm sorry. I'm not going anywhere, but the 4th of July is what day? Tuesday. So, yeah, Monday's the 3rd. So, yeah, I'll be here Monday. And once again, if you're a business out there, and you have a website or a product you want to have us to give not only just shout outs and sponsor or whatever from the other side of the fence, then you can definitely do that. And we definitely want your support there, and that we're offering a chance to give a shout out. This is paid advertising. I just want so if you have a business and you want to do that, let's do that. And then we're going to all support those businesses that's supporting us. She said, I will refresh yourself on YouTube guidelines. Yeah. Well, now let me put it. Okay. So let me say it like this so that y'all know the difference. All right. So let me make sure everybody understand what I'm saying. You probably don't see behind the scenes of the channel. So, matter of fact, Body Electric says refresh the guidelines. Shauna says, hey, there's no reason to get flagged. I've seen inappropriate things. Okay, so let me say this so that y'all know what I'm talking about. All right. Okay, so right there. So you said I've seen gross inappropriate things, especially the shorts that I reported it. All right, so that happens too, okay? There's not a video I don't get that people put they don't like, right? And sometimes some people can illegitimately, not that you've done it, but they can report. So that gives YouTube the awareness to look. When a video is flagged, there's 3 things that it does. If it's a copyright in violation, YouTube will say this is a blatant strike against you. 3 strikes, we take your channel down. YouTube will say this is a strike. Somebody has claimed copyright on the content. We're going to share the money and the revenue from the video. Then YouTube has a ad partner program. That's where you see most of us say, okay, I got my 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers. I'm now into the partner program. This is where the guidelines changes, okay? Now, if you are an advertiser and you wanted your ad run, you're going to tell YouTube to make sure that I don't want my ad ran on inappropriate conversations to be associated with inappropriate conversations. So it could be something racist, it could be whatever. So YouTube is going to monitor through their system that they don't run ads on certain conversations that they don't want to be associated with. So when they flag you for ads revenue, they can turn around behind the system and say first thing it'll say your video is no longer monetized. The video you just did, or it's monetized, but we're only showing it in certain areas. Some places we just can't show your video. In some cases, they'll say that the ad monetization is turned off. All right, so if you begin to have every video that you're doing that the monetization is turned off, then there is no revenue coming. You're just here, right? And if you're trying to grow, but if you are totally dependent upon contributions from your audience, we can curse, we can say whatever the freaking thing we want, because YouTube is not going to really care unless it's reported as a major violation, but they're not going to monetize your channel anymore. They're going to tell you you're kicked out the ad, which means, think about this now, the membership shuts down, the super chat sat down. All of that is part of the partnership program that they're now saying we're not going to allow you to make any money through YouTube. So now you definitely want advertisement, or you have your private, like offline that we have, like buy a cup of coffee and all that stuff where people can donate there. So a lot of these people have Patreon. They have all of this stuff where they're collecting their monetization outside of YouTube. So it does allow them to do that. Yeah. So I'm not going to never think I'll go far enough where YouTube says, we're just going to kill what you're doing, but we're going to limit the ads. And they can limit the ads, but I can still do membership. I can still do super chats and all that. It's just that I don't make any ad revenue, which if we start, and we will get 50, 60, 100,000 views a video, where now you're making a few thousand or 800 a video, then that helps if you're doing 10 videos a month. Now your channel is working. So it's a balance. And yeah, viewers can get you flagged. Yeah, they can do it at some point. And you got haters that'll do that anyway. But YouTube starts figuring it out. They see somebody just flagging your stuff over and over and over, then the algorithm quickly does that, and then it eventually block them off completely, because they can see the difference between an agitated conversation and somebody versus this person is just doing this to you repeatedly. So it is saying, like, why keep watching the person and you're flagging them? And so they notice that real quick. Like, you keep going over there, but you flagging them. So now we know it's intentional. So they do have countermeasures for that kind of stuff. Yeah, they do take 40% of the donations, but it's okay because it's a trusted platform. It's within the app. People can do it within the app, and they can do just that. All right. So are we done? It's Friday night. Get some water. Y'all can get ready to get out of here. I'm going to be here. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it is Friday night. Let's see. All right. So all right. It is Friday, and I want to appreciate each and every one of you being with me tonight, and although of you have donated and all of those things to the show tonight. It is definitely a wonderful thing to get the contributors to help out, but hopefully I provided some value tonight. Watch out for new content that I'm just going to be uploading. It's going to be like these little 15 mini docs. I got 3 that I'm finishing. we'll do that once a week as well. And then we will, Thursday nights will be dedicated to Project Black. We'll be here on Mondays, and then we'll do Fridays. And then I think one more day we'll add to the live stream of what we're doing. So outside of that, you know, I love each and every one of you. The 4th of July is coming up, so hopefully you're going to get some fireworks or do some things with your family. So it's going to be huge from there. If anything happens like in more of a breaking news fashion, then I'll be right back on here. But I do like what some of you saying that you will support if we need to go to these events or you want to send me there. And I'll try to figure out a way to there and say, okay, well, the people that are supporting it, they get the information first, or they're going to get a behind the scenes of what we're doing, and then you know, we'll release it back out to everyone else. And so, because I want to make it exclusive enough that people understand that I appreciate the support from there. So I love each and every one of you, and like I said, always to my haters, if they hate me and they don't know me, I can still love you without ever meeting you, and I don't want to meet you from there. And so all right, let's get out of here. Let's do it. We're going to be gone. Yeah, Paul, we're about to go, brother. We're about to go. We've been here 2 hours and 50 minutes, almost 3 hours. So see y'all next time.
Why did Ruby shoot Oswald? Was there a conspiracy?
In a world shrouded in darkness and obscured by deception from the big secret keepers, a burning question ignites in the hearts and minds of truth seekers. Why? Let's dive into the abyss of the unknown. Challenge the limits of our understanding.
This bizarre sequence of double killings raised great questions. Who actually fired the shot that killed Kennedy?
Pierce the veil of secrecy.
Cattle found dead and the manner of their deaths are a real mystery.
Anyone who is concerned about lead in the drinking water in Flint.
And venture into the realm of conspiracies and extraterrestrial evidence.